It's time to get things started.
On the motivational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Some things to go over with you. Come on, let's go. We have a lot to get into. They released Tyreek Hill body cam footage. You know that was coming. And
I didn't see that.
I'm going to tell you something. I can see both sides of this, if that's possible.
Really? So there's no definitive right-wrong here? Or?
No, I can see where both could have handled things differently. However, I don't... I'll get into it coming up in a second.
Well, so I'd like to see I got to see the footage, too,
you got to see the footage, but
this.
I'll describe it. I will describe it. I am a master describer. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. A master describer. All right, I want you to picture this. We have weather to talk about. And I have some records, some streaks to talk about.
Okay.
Weather coming up. Let's start with, just for one moment, think about the New York Mets and where they were back in May. For one moment. I know you're smirking at me, Davey. I know. I can see it. See in your eyes. But for one moment, think about this. They were how far back then?
I think they were 12 games out, weren't they?
They were like way below 500. Double-digit games below 500. Anyway, here we are as of the 10th of September, going into tonight's game.
Do you remember?
They are 7 games behind the Philadelphia Phillies and a game ahead of the Atlanta Braves right now.
And they played the Phillies for a 4-game series.
Listen to this,
don't they?
I think it's a 3-game. We'll double-check on that, but listen to this. When they finish up with, here's their schedule. So take a deep breath, Mets fans. Because it's either going to happen or it's not going to. They finish up with the Toronto Blue Jays. They then play a 3-game set with the Phillies, a 3-game set with the Nationals, and then a 3-game set with the Phillies, and a 3-game set with the Atlanta Braves. That is their schedule going forward.
So they are literally every single game is a must-win.
Every game at this point is a must-win, but you are now in control of your destiny.
So are these games in New York City or in Philadelphia, Atlanta?
The series this weekend is in Philly,
New York.
And I don't know about Atlanta. Then they'll be in New York with the Phillies.
Yeah, because the Yankees are away on a West Coast trip starting next week.
So
we have Seattle and Oakland.
All I'm saying is, if you believe, you feel like this is it's all in their own hands. They've won 10 of their last 11 games. And everything seems to be clicking. And how about, I'm not sure what he can accomplish for the Mets, but there's rumors that Syndergaard is unsigned right now. Now, what are the rules? Could they just sign a pitcher who's unsigned? What's the deadline?
They extended the rosters as of September 1st.
Okay.
So
they'd have to release somebody or...
Yeah, but if he did sign, he wouldn't be active for the playoffs.
Oh, he would not. Okay. I
see that he's looking for 2025.
Yeah, he's asking. He's really asking to come back and finish his career in New York.
Signa, the Korean pitcher, is in strife to be on the relief pitcher for you guys.
Well, I'm simply saying, keep an eye on this. Now, this could all blow up. This could all blow up in the next 2 weeks.
If the playoffs started today, the Mets would be in. And guess
Mets are in.
And that's who they'd be playing. The Braves. And then the winners would go against the Milwaukee Brewers.
So the interesting thing is that I think it's better that they're getting the Phillies home games out of the way. You, I think, want to have home field for that final series against.
Well,
the
but they're really not getting it out of the way. You have two basically in the next 9 games. You have 6 games with the Phillies.
No, I know. I'm saying,
but then I think there might be another series way down with the Phillies. I don't know. I didn't look that far. But you're right. I mean, I guess getting it out of the way now, but that could put you either way back or ahead.
That's like the Yankees. They finished their series against the Royals tomorrow. Then they have the Red Sox for 4. Then, like I said, they go on the West Coast for Seattle, Oakland, and then they have the Orioles for 3. That could be decisive for the AL East.
That's big.
And then they close out against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I want to talk about Miami-Dade police and the body cam footage. I would be interested, maybe Steve Houck would want to, I'd love his take on this.
Yeah, I'll see if he can.
Because my take is this was escalated by Miami-Dade police, and I don't know that they needed to drag him out of the car and put him on the ground, as he kept yelling, "I just had surgery on my knee. You just slammed me down onto the concrete." And so he was basically saying, "What did I do? I got to get to the game. I don't know what I did." And they said, "Give me your license." So he rolls his window down and hands the license, and then rolls his window back up. And the police officer said, "Roll your window back down. I told you to roll your window back down." And he said, I'm not rolling my window back down. Just give me the ticket so I can go. Whatever you're going to ticket me for, give it to me so I can go. Then they get the door open and they drag him out of the car. So, how there are those constitutional people that are like, you can give them your name. You don't have to do A, B, and C in a traffic stop. I don't know how true that is, and I imagine that is different from state to state. However, I think if the police would have handled that situation differently, understand he could have handled it differently. I get it, but he's the citizen. I think the police could have handled that differently. I don't think it needed to go as to the level of what it did, and I'll only say this: anything that he had, any crimes he might have committed previously, any domestic violence stuff, they're completely irrelevant in this case.
They're irrelevant to this incident. I think the one thing that I would question Tyreek Hill on is, they don't know that you're an NFL superstar. You've got a tinted out car.
He'd already given them his license.
Well, I think from a standpoint of,
I believe what he claims is he said, he explained who he was and that he's on his way to the stadium. And now at this point, he's calling security at the stadium saying, "I'm about to be arrested." Security came over to intervene. This just didn't need to, I'm sorry, it didn't need to elevate to the point that it did.
No, I didn't think it needed to elevate that. But if the cop tells you to roll the window down so they can see inside the vehicle and see on you, then you'll roll the window down.
I'm rolling the window down?
Yeah.
But is that a cause
to
create, and you never know what that could escalate to this day and age, right? So I don't believe that was a cause. I don't know that it needed to go where it went. I am no Tyreek Hill fan.
I don't think he should have been slammed on the ground and handcuffed and all that. But I think to an extent there needs to be some compliance.
It is not against the law to be rude and an a-hole. And I think that's kind of what he was being. But maybe Hal can give us his take on it. And I get it. You are what his mama taught him. That's what he keeps saying.
Yeah.
I'll bet his mama taught him put your hand on the steering wheel. You hear this in a lot of black families. Don't make any quick moves and listen to the police officer. And he did not do that.
No.
But you are an NFL superstar, if you will.
Superstar.
So I don't know. I just don't know that it needed to go to that level. Let's see what Houck has to say. He will
be calling in about 7:45.
He may say I'm completely wrong. And it's possible. All right, then we'll bring you to the situation that happened at the Frankfurt School District. You had an update on that, the open house. I would ask you, citizens, are you satisfied with the information that has been released? And I still go back to where I was, that if this was an average Joe, we would know who it was, and my guess is there'd be an arrest. unintentional irresponsibility, or what do they call it? I forgot what it was worded, but most people get arrested for that.
Yeah, or if at the very least, having. Well, I don't know if I want to release that detail. I don't know that's been officially released, so I won't make a comment on other circumstances.
Well,
surrounding
KTV
it.
is reporting that he is a police officer at another agency.
Right. Yes. So that's one thing. But what I was going to say is not been released yet, so I won't say that. But the point is that I give credit to the Frankfurt superintendent. He made a statement that's kind of vague and not really giving us any new information.
Was he the first to make a statement? Because
yes.
Chief Palumbo has made a statement out of KTV.
Yeah, I think as far as publicly, he made a statement kind of explaining to the district community what happened back on the 3rd when this occurred. And he released a new statement yesterday, which didn't really give any more information.
Obviously, there is no danger to the public. I think everybody. Here's the problem with this too. Everybody knew what happened. At this point, you may not have had the exact details perfectly correct, but everybody kind of knew what happened.
Yeah.
And we're waiting to see what will police do about it. And I'm not sure we're that much further ahead than we were. Is this something that satisfies the people of the town of Frankfurt? You want to pipe in? Feel free. 315-736-0186.
Well, social media is a great platform for people to show their displeasure, and they have been.
I know. And the problem is behind the keyboard, you feel, I don't know,
you feel
a little more brave.
Empowered, yes.
Like I can say anything behind the keyboard. 315-736-0186. And we'll get into some of those comments coming up in a second. We're talking about football. We're going to do Aaron Rodgers just a little bit, but the question is once again with football underway, because I'm going to tell you something. Aaron Rodgers took some hits last night, and I'm like, every time he gets another hit is another
taking years off his career.
Is taking time off his career. Here's a question: is youth football too dangerous? And it's being asked. It is something that is talked about every football season. There are some legendary football players out there that say, I would never let my kid play football. 7 middle high school football deaths in August in the country. Here's Tanya J. Powers with an update. Tanya, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
It is a question, right? Is this the sport you want your kids playing? And there are plenty of people who played football and had a career playing football who say, I don't really want my kid playing football.
Yeah, these football-related deaths you were just talking about, the ones in August, the 7 middle and high school students, range in age from 13 to 16. And they're from different states, West Virginia, Alabama, Virginia, Florida, Maryland, Kansas. They range, by the way, from heat stroke to chest pains to head injuries. I believe one of them fell at some point. I don't think it wasn't a tackle situation. I think he fell and hit his head. And when he hit his head the wrong way, and that's what happened. It is, one of those things it seems like we hear about this at the beginning of every school year.
Yeah.
These deaths of young football players, a lot of times, like I said, we hear about heat stroke because, it is so warm at the beginning of football season. You're out there, you're practicing, you've got all the equipment on, it can get really hot. The stats on some of these are just, I don't know if anybody's ever actually stopped to think about it or looked this up, but it really got my attention. The National Center for Catastrophic Sport Injury Research reported 16 total football-related deaths last year.
Wow.
9 of them were in middle or high school. In July and August, over the last 3 academic years, there were 6 football deaths in 2021, 3 in 2022, and 2 in 2023. For middle and high school students, the traumatic deaths, like head injuries, spine injuries is what we're talking about. Exertional deaths, also that's the heat stroke, the cardiac arrest, that kind of stuff. It seems like there seem to be more of those, according to that research. all 50 states do have some sort of law aimed at preventing sports-related concussions. Heat stroke laws, those kinds of related laws are a little bit more rare. I think the only ones that have those are Florida, Texas, California, New Jersey, and North Carolina. But it's a lot more common than a lot of people may think. The injuries surrounding youth football. More than 3.5 million children age 14 and younger get hurt playing sports every year or doing recreational activities. When you're talking about death from a sports-related injury, the leading cause is a brain injury. So it's, like I said, it's something to definitely, think about, when your kid comes to you and says, I want to play this sport. That is maybe something to have in the back of your mind. I'm sure most parents do.
And as we said, there are, who was it, like Larry Zonka or Mike Ditka or somebody like that was like, I would not want my kid playing football. I wouldn't want my grandchild playing football based on, you talk to NFL players and they say it's like being in a massive car accident every Sunday and you start over again on Monday. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers felt that last night because he was taking any, you get to be that age, just getting out of bed once you get into your 40s. Just getting out of bed sometimes you can feel the aches and pains.
But I'll tell you, too, I think the technology as far as helmets has improved since Larry Zonka's days. But
I think Larry Zonka, those guys were like right on the verge of those leather
right after
things.
The leather helmets.
Okay, Tanya, very interesting. And what's also interesting about this sport is a multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
A lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And I know, as you get south, the Friday night, Saturday football weekends are bigger than they're almost college-like in the high school level in the South. So, all right, interesting stuff. Tanya, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. I have audio on Tyreek Hill, if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
This is the traffic stop. We'll play this for Houck. Miami-Dade police released the body cam footage. You knew that was coming.
They almost have to. They almost had to have.
Of the cop. Well, not really. We learn up here that you don't have to do anything. Footage of the cop
Good point.
who pulled Tyreek Hill out of his car after a traffic stop before yesterday's Dolphins game. He was pulled. That would have been Sunday's Dolphins game.
Yeah.
He was pulled over for excessive speed. The police union says he was uncooperative, which I think is fair. He was uncooperative. His attorney says the police reaction was excessive. And I'm simply saying I think they're both right, personally.
Yeah, it is a tough situation because, you almost, with the entitlement of being an NFL player, it almost excuses being non-compliant or uncooperative. Well, but even
what if that was just a regular person who's saying, all you have on me is I was speeding or driving erratically, whatever, and he claims he wasn't. It says every speeder in the world.
Yeah.
But, that's just a Joe Blow who is like saying, here's my license, and being basically rude to them. Here's my license. Give me the ticket. I've got stuff to do. Is that cause to rip somebody out of the car and put them in handcuffs?
No.
I think we'll ask that to Houck and get his official take.
Yeah.
Because he trains police officers. So, and maybe you're right. Maybe I'm right on this. I don't know. I do know that when I'm stopped, I really try to be as polite as possible.
Yeah, I hope that they give me a break and not give me the ticket.
I also always try to think about the fact that these police officers are standing out in the middle of a highway with speeding traffic going by. They never know when they're going to come over and a window gets rolled down and somebody pulls out a gun. I mean, there's a lot of life-threatening pressure right there as well. So there's a lot to consider here. Anyway, here's the audio, and this is from body cam footage. Here we go.
Hey, don't knock on my window like that, man. Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Don't knock on my window. Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Knock on my window like that.
All right, he's being a piece of garbage. There's no doubt. Don't knock on my window like that, is what he's saying.
Like what? Don't knock on my window like that. Why you have it up? Don't knock on my window like that.
Why you have it up? I have to knock to let you know I'm here.
Don't knock
that
on
way you
my
can
window.
lower it and talk to
Just
you.
get my ticket, bro, so I can go. I'm finna be late, gang. Do what you gotta do.
Keep it down. Hey! Keep your window down. Hey! Keep your window down.
Don't tell me what.
Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car.
Give me that.
Get out of the car.
Give me that. I'm gonna break that window.
Get out of the car.
I'm finna get out.
Get out of the car right now. We're not playing this game. Get out.
Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Damn.
And they're now dragging. I mean, they're dragging him out, and they throw him to the ground.
Oh.
And I just don't know that this is the same outcome for every police officer.
I mean, that officer
I've certainly
was clearly PO'd.
No doubt about it.
Being not excusing that.
And maybe and maybe there's a bit of reverse discrimination there. Who does this guy? This guy thinks he's an NFL player. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
You follow the law just like everybody else. So, maybe there was a little bit of that. I don't know. But I just don't know that it needed to go there. And we'll see what police, what Houck has to say. I think his take will be really good. James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
This is CNN. I sound just like him, don't I? I am your father. Sound just like him, don't I? Here is some James Earl Jones audio.
Of course, The Sandlot too was
that he did so much. Yeah. Probably this was his most famous of all. Right here.
This is Keeler in the Morning on WIBX.
Remember that?
I remember that cut.
Remember
he did
that
for
one?
us. Yep.
That
was
probably
back when you started originally.
Was his most famous.
That's when you first. Yep.
Yeah.
She must have hidden the plans in the escape pod. Send a detachment down to retrieve them. See to it personally, Commander. There'll be no one to stop us this time.
Yes, sir.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father. So, you have accepted the truth.
I've accepted the truth that you were once Anakin Skywalker, my father.
That name no longer has any meaning for me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life.
How can I go back? I'm not who I used to be.
Remember who you are.
Mufasa. He was the father in Coming to America, if you remember that. That's with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
He did so much. He was in a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of iconic, really iconic movies. Nothing as big as his role in Star Wars. And he came back with Star Wars. He came back even with the TV series, those whatever they were, streaming series or whatever they were that were done a few years back. He came in to do that as well.
Yeah.
And his initial work with what's his name from Star Wars when he
Darth
was
Vader.
No. The producer.
George Lucas.
When Lucas called him and said, "Hey, I'm working on a movie. Do you have like a day to work with me on some voiceover work? I have an idea." And he said it was 2 hours. I made a couple $1,000, and that was history. He said, I walked away, didn't think it was going to be anything, and it was enormous.
He should have got some royalties for that.
Yeah. Well, I imagine he probably just got paid. I don't know. But again, his most famous, you'll hear tonight during the debate.
This is Keeler in the Morning on WIBX.
Yeah, there it is.
That only cost us a couple $1,000 too.
Only a couple thousand for that. Only a couple thousand. Actually, that was free. It was after an interview. It's like, hey, could you say this is Keeler in the Morning? And yeah, sure. Whatever you want. I'll do anything for you.
This is, so we got some comments already.
Mike says, I'll never be able to eat an Arby's sandwich again without thinking about James Earl Jones.
Oh, I forgot.
We have the meat.
Is that him that does that?
Yep.
Or did that?
That is.
I didn't realize.
I wonder if Scotty Scheffler gave Tyreek Hill advice on how to handle a traffic stop. I wonder if the police officer had moved from Florida from Buffalo. Could be possible.
Good point.
And in the middle of the season, Davey would have said the Mets ain't got no chance to make the playoffs. But now it's a different story, Davey. Now it's a different story.
Indeed.
Do you believe they have a chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay, there you go.
Wow,
Those
that was
3
big of him
words.
that was very difficult for him to say.
Can you say this for me? This is CNN.
This is CNN.
Sounds just like
a spitting image.
I'll never forget we did the crank call and the guy. And we were just I got to play it sometime. We were in the studio, which is what we would do every day after the show, and the studio would become ours. It'd become a production room, and we just started making phone calls. And every once in a while, you get lucky. All of a sudden, we get the call, and on the voiceover, there's this guy that has this low voice, and it was clearly a little over the top for the voicemail.
Yeah, right.
But so when the woman answered the phone, I said, "Who is that voice on the other end of the voicemail?" "I'm calling from NBC. We're looking for a voiceover artist." And she said, "Hold on just a minute. Let me get him."
That was back in the days of what you're saying is the answering machine.
The answering machine. Well, that was voicemail because I'm calling an office. So it was voicemail. I pressed a button. It went to her.
Oh, gotcha.
Nonetheless, then by the time I got him on, I was using this is CNN thing, but this is NBC. And I said, "Can you just say for me in that unbelievable voice, this is NBC?" And he said, "I guess I can do that. This is NBC." And I'm like, "Wow." He said, "I also do voices." I said, "Really?" Yeah, I do. I do 35, 55 voices. Yo, this is Rocky Balboa. And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's got to be Rocky Balboa." Yeah, that's it. Hi, chickadee. It was one of my favorite crank calls. Someday
you
I'll
gotta find all that stuff. There's a lot you gotta find.
There's a lot of crap out there, Andrew. You have comments. I'm sorry.
Deeds in New Hartford of the idiot police officer. Oh, hold on. This is a continue. I hate when the way that
I know they give you half
mechanisms.
You read comments. Hold on.
Why hide this name? Why hide the name this far out of the idiot police officer? Because that's what he is, and he shouldn't carry a gun. That's Deeds in New Hartford. Also, we have a comment. This is from John in Deerfield.
Can I just say what Deeds said? I don't agree with all of what he said. However, I will say, the more you keep from the public, the more the story lingers, the more people ask questions, the more people feel that they are treated differently. The more people feel they lose trust.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that with Houck. That is what this is all about. The public has to have trust in their officials. And that is the most important thing, I feel. And being transparent, no matter how embarrassing it might be for someone, I just feel like if this was a Joe Blow, we'd all know. Yeah. And that makes people angry. I don't really care, to be honest with you. I don't live there. I don't pay taxes there.
No, you don't.
In fact, I don't pay taxes. It's my constitutional right. That's not true.
To avoid them. John in Deerfield, roll your window down so an officer can search your vehicle is not a lawful order. Window down to get my ID and communicate is necessary. I'm not authorizing anybody to search my vehicle at any time, no matter what it is. Or
yeah, there is an element of by having my window up. Right now you don't have and I don't know. You don't have the right to search my vehicle. You see these stories happen all the time. People will tape themselves. You don't have to tape yourself anymore. The cops are taping.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a body cam. But people will tape themselves. There's a whole group out there that believes police do not have the right. They only have the right to do certain things in a traffic stop, which I believe has truth to it. However, you know who I'd also like to get is Hobaika would be interesting to hear what he has to say about this, being a defense attorney.
Yeah.
Maybe we can grab him, too. Because I know no one tells Joe to roll his window down.
Never. Or how much money to give away, right, Davey?
How much, by the way, today we're giving away today, Davey, is the potential that we'll be giving away?
$200.
$200. Wow.
All right. Not really scared, just a little scared.
All right, comments. Any others?
I do have one from Bill Morehouse. I watched the whole video. Is this how Hill would teach his kid to respect police officers? He acted like what he is, an overprivileged punk. These officers risk their life every day, and they make a traffic stop, and this is the respect they get. Tyreek Hill is a piece of crap, and I heard he treats women really well. On the flip side, he helped my fantasy team win this week, so I'll give him that.
Okay. All right, Bill. On almost all counts, I agree. I do agree. I would tell and have told my kids that you act with complete respect, period. And I do agree. But the question is being rude or being an a-hole, is that against the law? And does that warrant pulling somebody out of a car, handcuffing them, and putting their face or their knee, in this case, into the ground? I really believe that is the question. But, maybe I'm just stupid. I'm sure that's it. You want to know what the greatest moment of today, September 10th, is? The greatest moment of the day.
This is Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Finding that little nugget from the past.
I know that's, and you just found it randomly.
I'll have to
right?
randomly. I'll have to pull it for you. Do you have any other comments?
I have none.
I have Broadway Utica tickets to give away. The Broadway show coming up on Saturday and Sunday at the Stanley is Kimberly Akimbo. Akimbo, I believe is how it's pronounced. Anyway, this is a big winner at the Tonys. One of the, I believe it, best play or whatever they say, best show. It's a big deal, and there are tickets that we have to give away, and we will do so at some point later this morning. Also, at the Stanley coming up next week on the 19th is the 1964 tribute show. The Beatles. And we have tickets to give away for that as well. Can I just keep going for another 5 minutes before you shut me down?
You can go to the time I put on that card.
Okay there. Or what are you going to do? Pull me out of my seat and throw me on the ground?
Handcuff you.
Is that what you're going to do?
Break anyway. And I don't have a body cam.
Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if you watched any of the game last night, but Aaron Rodgers, here he is, his offensive coordinator, is sitting next to him with a pad, and he's going over plays of what Aaron Rodgers did. And so here he is, he's explaining, and you can see, now you're watching this, they got it on camera, you're seeing it, and Aaron Rodgers is just sitting there looking the other way, paying zero attention.
One of the reasons why I'm glad he's not in Green Bay anymore.
I think he was looking for his ayahuasca dealer. I'm thinking. Completely looking the other way.
Talk about a guy who needs to be thrown to the ground, I'll tell you.
You know who the offensive coordinator is?
Who is that?
Andrew?
I think it was, is it Nathaniel?
Yep, Nathaniel Hackett.
All right. Yeah. I only have 2 minutes now by Andrew's militant rules. Josh Allen update. Davey, Josh Allen update. They say he's okay. He's cleared for practice.
Yep, Sean McDermott yesterday said that he's clear to play and he will take full reps tomorrow, and he will travel with the team to Miami for Thursday.
And a short run, right? We play Bills play Thursday night against the Miami Dolphins.
So that's in Buffalo, that game?
No, it's in Miami.
Well, hopefully Tyreek doesn't get
which is what a lot of people say is good to have that game on Thursday night as opposed to a Sunday at 1 o'clock in Miami.
Yeah,
with the heat. Gunfire at the State Fair. Word is still no evidence.
Didn't happen.
No evidence to prove that it did happen. Bruce Springsteen's wife, I believe they're married now. Is he married to Patty Scalfa? Is it Scalfa is how her name is pronounced? The redhead. She has announced that she has been battling cancer, and it's a blood cancer.
That is
something I know somewhat about. Hers, though, is a toughie, multiple myeloma, which is a form of blood cancer she's had since 2018. Sometimes she can perform with a band. Other times she is not able to perform. It just seems like everywhere you turn, somebody else is battling cancer. Just feels that way. Maybe it's me. Ed Kranepool, really one of the most... definitely the most tenured player for the New York Mets. He played from the start of, I believe, he may have been on the inaugural Mets team, but he certainly played with the Miracle Mets in 1969. And he continued on until I think, I think it was like 79 he played for the Mets.
Didn't we have a chance to do an interview with him?
We did. And do you remember the line that he had when on the air, which I thought was pretty darn good? This is Ed Kranepool. Go ahead, Ed.
This is Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Remember when
he sounds
did that?
a lot like
Remember
James
when he
Earl
did that?
Jones.
He said that is my James Earl Jones impression. Ed Kranepool. Very sad, but the longest tenured Met in New York Mets history. All right, I do have to break because the militant one over here says I do.
That's
Therefore, I will. News is coming up next.
For the best in floor covering, it has to be Sarah's. For the best in carpet, it has to be Smart Strand Silk Carpet by Mohawk.
Smart Strand Silk Carpet is no ordinary carpet. To prove it, Mohawk installed it in a rhino zoo cage. Blake the rhino lived on this carpet.
After this 2-ton rhino gave the carpet his best, messiest shot, the Smart Strand carpet came clean.
This month only at Sarah's, you get an additional 20% off their everyday low price on Smart Strand Silk Carpet.
This carpet will stand up to whatever your family can dish out with its all-pet protection. It's the softest, most durable, easiest to clean carpet on the planet.
With Sarah's Flooring Outlets buying power, we get great factory direct deals and pass the savings along to you.
To prove it, this month only at Sarah's, you get an additional 20% off their everyday low price on Smart Strand Silk Carpet.
Now you see why more people buy from the big store, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and at sarahsflooringoutlet.com.
Hey everyone, Lisa here from Fit Body Boot Camp in Whitesboro and Clinton. Are you ready to fall back into that fitness routine? As the seasons transform, why not transform your fitness goals too? Here at Fit Body Boot Camp, we can help you create those healthy habits, and yes, our coaches are ready to help you lose the weight for the very last time. What are you waiting for? Join us today for free because we are the best of the best fitness center for 3 years in a row. Call us or find us on Facebook to start your journey.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is Dr. Robert Fleischer, urologist with Mohawk Valley Health System. MVHS, in collaboration with Upstate Urology, is hosting a free prostate cancer screening event throughout the month of September to recognize Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and encourage men to get screened. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer and unfortunately the second leading cause of cancer death in American men. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during his lifetime. Early diagnosis of prostate cancer significantly increases the likelihood of survival. The free screenings include a prostate exam with a prostate-specific antigen blood test. I strongly encourage all men aged 45 to 75 to participate. Early detection can mean the difference between life and death. For more information or to register, please visit mvhealthsystem.org or call 315-624-4600. That's 315-624-4600.
Hey, I'm going to let you in on a little wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half every single month. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, they want you to believe that you need unlimited data so they can overcharge you. Well, here's the fact. Most of you are buying way more data than you'll ever need. Now, Pure Talk, my cell phone company, only charges you for data that you actually need. For example, for $25 a month, you can get unlimited talk, unlimited text, and 5 gigs of data plus mobile hotspot. $25. And do you know what you can do with 5 gigs of data? Well, you can browse the internet for 135 hours, stream 1,000 songs, and watch 10 hours of video. Stop overpaying for wireless. Get 5G coverage with Pure Talk. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now. Check in with one of Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team members. No contract to sign, no activation fee, and you can even keep your phone and your phone number. pound 250. Keyword, save now. Do it now. You save an additional 50% off your first month from Pure.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The window is closing on a ceasefire for Gaza. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Israel's defense minister says as they go on the offensive again, with overnight airstrikes killing at least 19 Palestinians in Gaza.
This was an area filled with tents and civilians, though the Israelis say they were targeting a Hamas command and control center. A statement provided to Fox News from the IDF says the head of Hamas's aerial unit was killed, along with 2 other Hamas members.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. That war in Gaza could be a big topic for Vice President Harris and former President Trump in their first showdown tonight, the ABC presidential debate.
Won't be an audience, won't be any notes, and Team Trump says that is no problem. When Fox asked the campaign, how is the former president preparing, they quipped back, what is debate prep, implying that he simply does not need it, that he could maybe wing it. His campaign added that fielding constant questions on the campaign trail has been preparation enough.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff, where the debate will be in Philadelphia. Vice President Harris has been prepping for days in Pittsburgh, doing mock debates with a Trump impersonator. Police have still not found the accused gunman in Saturday's highway shooting in Kentucky that left 5 people wounded on I-75 near London, south of Lexington.
Joseph Couch reportedly sent a text to a woman identified as his ex-wife saying he planned to kill a lot of people. A Lexington, Kentucky newspaper reported the relationship, which the warrant did not detail. Several agencies continue to search for Couch, who would face attempted murder, among other charges. The text also reportedly said Couch intended to kill himself afterward.
Fox's Gernal Scott, about an hour and a half ago. 4, 3. SpaceX launched Polaris Dawn from Cape Canaveral in Florida. It's a private 5-day mission, partly funded by billionaire Jared Isaacman, who's the commander, and has 3 crewmates who will conduct the first spacewalk. Private spacewalk. America's listening to Fox News.
Jerry Paget, the second enlisted in the U.S. Navy and deployed multiple times to Iraq and Afghanistan until Jerry was catastrophically injured in an improvised explosive device blast. Now, Jerry received a new smart home thanks to our friends at the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Now, the home is in the foundation's Let Us Do Good Village. It's in Florida, and Jerry now lives more independently thanks to the specially adaptive technologies. Commit to $11 a month, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Well, Israel keeps going after Hamas in Gaza. Ukraine goes on the offensive in Russia again.
The Russian government says it's intercepted more than 140 Ukrainian drones targeting 9 of its regions, one of the biggest aerial counterattacks of the war so far. 3 airports near the capital, Moscow, were shut down with planes diverted mid-air. Russia claims wreckage from drones it brought down damaged 3 residential buildings, causing civilian casualties. Some analysts say Ukraine is trying to build initiative ahead of presenting a new peace plan to international allies in the coming weeks. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
A lot of people are sad this morning that a Hollywood icon has died.
I am your father.
James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader in Star Wars, has died. He was 93 years old. The EGOT winner starred in many films throughout his venerable career. He was widely regarded as one of the great stage and screen actors. He won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony in his lifetime. Jones appeared in many of the most famous films coming out of Hollywood, including the Stanley Kubrick classic Dr. Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Several films in the Star Wars franchise. Field of Dreams, he played Mufasa in The Lion King. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are down modestly after the first gains of the month. The Dow surged up 484 points, rebounding from last week's sell-off. On Monday Night Football, the 49ers spoil Aaron Rodgers' return to the Jets.
Second and goal, Mason bobbling it, but a touchdown.
Jordan Mason replaced the injured Christian McCaffrey, rushing for 147 yards in that score, leading the San Francisco 49ers to a 32-19 win over the New York Jets on ESPN. Rodgers threw a TD pass and an interception in his return from the injury that forced him to miss almost all of last season. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time, 7:05. Right now we're at 55 degrees under sunny skies. Your full weather forecast coming up. This update brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Riscony Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Go to johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more information. They've been investigating for days, but troopers say there's still no evidence of gunfire at the Great New York State Fair. The fairgrounds were evacuated as a precaution back on September 1st after there were reports of gunshots. However, state police say interviews with 31 people who dialed 911 that night have not led to any proof being uncovered a weapon was actually fired.
So there were 31 people who
called 911. Yeah.
Wow. You kind of wonder, how does that happen? Is it like almost a game of telephone?
I think it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, we talked to Technical Sergeant Jack Keeler while you were away.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things he talked about was, some people were putting stuff on social media. Oh, I saw it. Or I was right there. And then they went back and talked to those people, and they didn't really see much.
Almost like giving somebody the placebo. It's the placebo effect. It's like you hear about it, you know it happened, and then you want people to believe it. So
then you want people to think you're somehow cool or in the know, or look at me, give me attention because I saw this happen.
And some people are they'll make up crap.
They will.
It's unbelievable.
Until that trooper investigator, that state police investigator comes to your door and they say,
then you're like,
I don't really remember.
Humana.
Exactly. Well, 31 people dialed 911 that night. No proof has been uncovered. A weapon was actually fired. There's still no word on what exactly people heard, and anyone with information is asked to come forward. Two brothers who were involved in a home invasion and kidnapping are going to be spending some time behind bars. Yesterday, a judge ordered 24-year-old Ram Katawada and 24-year-old Laxman Katawada to serve 8 years in prison. The brothers broke into a house on East Laurel Street in Syracuse last year and held a man at hostage at knife point before taking the individual's phone and demanding cash for its return. A third suspect is awaiting trial. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo will be testifying in front of lawmakers on Capitol Hill today. Cuomo is expected to face questions about how his administration responded to the COVID-19 pandemic. He issued a mandate during the crisis ordering nursing homes to admit patients who tested positive for the illness. An independent report by an outside consulting firm concluded Cuomo's takeover of public health policy during the pandemic was a, quote, significant and unnecessary mistake.
So I've been thinking about this a little bit, and we're going to talk to Dr. Hall about it coming up, because I really feel, and maybe some commenters or people want to call in and pipe in on this, I do kind of feel like there was a point where it was okay, but then it reached a point where it became overkill and excessive.
Like the daily press conferences and everything?
And I think they were okay in the beginning, but it got very, very old. And then remember, this all can, think about it. You could go in and have, was a hot dog considered a meal?
Chicken wing wasn't.
A chicken wing is not. And people were up in arms.
Like the Cuomo face on the glass we had for years.
It became kind of like Big Brother is watching at every step. And then when you realize the rules didn't make any sense in some cases.
Right.
It's like, all right, you can take your mask off to eat, but you got to put it back on.
Or if you're sitting at your table, don't wear the mask, but you get up to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Put that mask on.
All of it didn't make, once you open up the restaurants, and then it was 25%, if you remember in the beginning. Think about all of those rules that just became really, and there he was every day making crap up on his press conference. He was just making stuff up. It's exactly what it was. They were like,
got him an Emmy.
Got him an Emmy.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to Dr. Hall about that. At what point did this go too far? And was initially, the original shutdown, remember, came from Trump. That's the shutdown. And then everybody went and expounded upon
and
that.
Took a little bit more and ran with it there.
Yeah. And
Cuomo wasn't the only governor.
No, but he was the famous one.
He was. And then he became the infamous one.
He did. Yeah.
Finally, Lotto players going to be lining up today to take their shot at that $800 million prize. There hasn't been a winner since early June, and the price of a ticket to play the game is just $2. The drawing will be streamed live at megamillions.com.
All righty. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm going to buy us a ticket.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Through my Jack Pocket thing. Hold on.
If we win, I'll give you the $1.
Gonna pick my own numbers. Give me 5 numbers between 1 and 70.
4.
Davey, you can get in on this too. 4.
17.
17. Andrew?
Let's do 31.
31. Davey?
22.
And Andrew,
and you
get...
gotta pick one. That's 4.
I am 49 years old. I'll pick that.
Love it.
Oh, screw it. I'm 59. Damn it all. All right. Andrew, I'll let you
I
pick.
Believed you. I
you
believed
picked
you.
the mega ball between 1 and 25.
We got to do lucky 7.
And boom. There you go. Add this to the
I personally
cart.
like the quick picks too. Because then I don't blame myself if I...
Check out. I'm going to put Megaplier on, which means it could double it, triple it, quadruple it, or whatever 5 is.
Quintuple it.
Tuplet it.
Quintuple it.
And boom, we now have a ticket.
There you go.
For tonight's game.
I love it.
Davey, you'll get 10% of the winnings, okay? Andrew, you'll get 5%, and I get the rest.
Okay, why
now,
do I
we'll
get
split
5
it
and
all
he gets
3
10?
ways. 3-way split. Done.
Because I've been here longer than you.
That's right.
Well, then they'll need to find a replacement morning show because us 3 will be. See ya.
We are flying out of town.
Bye.
Okay.
You want the weather?
Let's see where we're at with this. Really, it's not perfect today, but man, it's about to move there.
It is indeed.
Here's the latest from the WIBX Weather Center for today. Almost up to 70 degrees with plenty of sunshine. For tonight, look for partly clear skies and a low going down to 44 degrees. Tomorrow, we warm up to 75 with sunny skies. And then on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sunshine and temps in the low to mid 80s. That's the latest. I'm Mike Johnson for WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Right now, we're at 55 degrees under clear skies. It is 7:12. Sports brought to you by IBEW Nika 43 local contractors. The Jets struggled in their season opener after falling to the San Francisco 49ers 32-19 at Levi's Stadium. Aaron Rodgers returned from his torn Achilles and completed 13 of 21 passes for 167 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Alan Lazard managed to catch 6 passes for 89 yards and 2 scores. Gang Green is now last in the AFC East at 0-1. They'll visit the Titans on Sunday. Meanwhile, Brian Daboll has said that he's sticking with Daniel Jones despite the abysmal start to the season. So there will be no change for the Giants at that position as of right now. The Yankees opened their series against the Kansas City Royals with a 10-4 victory at Yankee Stadium. Jake Cousins was credited with his second win of the year after striking out 2 over a scoreless inning of relief. Austin Wells had a huge game, 2 for 5 with a 3-run homer, a double, and 4 RBIs total. Alex Verdugo also went deep for the Bombers, who lead the AL East at 83-61. They'll continue their 3-game set tonight in the Bronx. The Mets have won 10 of their last 11 games after opening their series against the Blue Jays with a 3-2 win at Rogers Center. Ryan Stanek earned the victory after striking out 3 batters over a scoreless inning of relief. They are now the 3rd NL wild card at 79-65, and they'll continue their 3-game set tonight. Bill, if you want to hear more about Dr. Tim Delmedico, I'm going to tell you about him. He was a chiropractor, and then he started this Revive Softwave therapy business. He's now sold the chiropractic business to solely focus on a technology he brought to this area, and he now has 4 Softwave clinics in the area and is a distributor of the technology for others. He believes in it that much that he's also going to be, distributing it to others. But he is the one that brought it first. And if you're dealing with any foot, ankle, knee, back, arthritis, wrist, neuropathy pain, this cutting-edge technology that's used in medical centers everywhere, some of the biggest, the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, using this technology post-surgery. Also,
Aaron Rodgers is using it today.
He did. So
I forget yesterday. He's got to be using it this morning.
I'm sure he is.
He has to be in pain.
It's so funny because Dr. Tim actually told me this. Aaron Rodgers originally was going to a specialist for these treatments, and he loved it so much after the Achilles injury, he bought a machine himself and does the treatments himself. But it's also used by several other sports teams like the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Knicks, the Cubs, Orlando Magic, the Denver Broncos, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Toronto Blue Jays, using it for the pain they suffered in their loss to the Mets. How you doing? Also Harvard University, UCLA Health, University of Georgia, the Mayo Clinic I mentioned, Cleveland Clinic. This technology is shown to be pretty effective for several types of injuries. It definitely helped me with my foot and ankle pain. So if you're dealing with any of that nagging pain, you got to talk to Dr. Tim and his staff. You can call anytime at 315-725 725-8427. That's 315-725-8427. Or check out their website, reviveutica.com. Let the healing begin with Revive Softwave Therapy.
You remember this clip from James Earl Jones here on the radio about 10 years ago.
This is Keeler in the Morning on WIBX.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
It was nice of him to do that because his voice was his moneymaker.
You'll also remember this clip.
This is Keeler in the Morning on WIBX.
You'll also remember this clip.
This is Keeler in the Morning on WIBX.
Yeah, we asked him to do a couple different versions of it. It's pretty consistent.
There's another one in there, and it's disappeared on me. I don't know. I'll play that funny moment, trust me, coming up in a few minutes. Wayne says, first drop ball, Aaron Rodgers was rolling his eyes over the receiver.
He is such a drama queen. It's
Donna
disgusting.
This morning, like I said, some a-hole played the gunshot sound on their phone because a ride line was too long.
Oh, interesting.
That's interesting. And Mike this morning, remember during COVID when we fought over keeping our respirators, only to find out in many cases the respirators were killing patients.
Oh.
That was something. We'll talk to Dr. Hall coming up on this as Cuomo testifies. Is he testifying again?
I think he's testifying today.
Yeah. And of course the debate is tonight. Will you be watching the debate? I got a whole thing on I have an interesting take on how this debate could be a vulnerability for both Trump and Harris. Just my take. And also, I have a couple of drinking games.
It's on the radio at 8 o'clock tonight, the debate.
We will be carrying the debate live.
We'll do it live.
If you don't want to watch it on TV. It'll also be interesting. You remember the Nixon-Kennedy debate. They said people who listened on the radio had a different impression of the... I mean, I don't want to... Mike Johnson went to Sunday. Monday, 80s and sunshine. Tuesday, like 79 and sunshine. Right now, for the foreseeable... Until, not this weekend, but the following weekend, the forecast is not calling for any rain. Now, my guess is we could get some rain. The other thing is this storm that's brewing in the Gulf of Mexico. If that does come up, and it comes, we could see the remnants of that.
Now, what is
Hopefully
this now?
We
A
don't.
hurricane? This is a hurricane that's brewing down there? Oh, boy.
Hurricane, let's see if I got it right. Francine.
Fred
F. Collison Sons, heating, cooling, and insulation. As we said, fall is just around the corner. Are you ready? And I got to say, there are some programs out there that you could take advantage of, some really amazing programs, because the state and the federal government, they really want you to be energy efficient. NYSERDA's Empower Plus program, not clear how long these incentives will stay, as they are great, but they're out there now. Are you a senior? And it's tough making ends meet from month to month, you may qualify. Are you working, you're working really hard, but it's still tough to make ends meet? There's a possibility you could qualify. Collis has all the programs. They have experts handling it. They'll walk you through the entire program, including the home electrification appliance rebate here, funding through the Inflation Reduction Act. Right now, and this could be good for Rome, people in Rome who have had damage. New Yorkers can receive an electrical service upgrade, a.k.a. the panel box, or maybe even electrical wiring upgrade, and it might be absolutely no charge for you. So the best way to figure it all out is to call the people at Collis and say, here's where I'm at. Am I eligible? You can check out their website for details, fredfcollis.com, or call them today at 315-860-1301. Coming up, Dr. Hall, and I want to talk about this Cuomo testimony. Did he go too far? And at what point, let's assume that he did, at what point did it become kind of ridiculous? At what point did we start making mistakes? And was there a point where it was justified? Dr. Hall, coming right up at WIBX.
Adirondack Home Furniture now carries Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925 and is known for its high-quality, solid-built, top-of-the-line pieces. Made in America with modern technology using age-old craftsmanship, Smith Brothers offers furniture that you can have confidence in for generations. Smith Brothers is a solid and dependable brand who provide innovative furniture design with every piece. Smith Brothers is a leader in the furniture industry with their award-winning line of upholstered furniture. They have built a reputation for their value and design leadership with furniture of the finest quality. We would love for you to come and browse our extensive inventory and see for yourself. Smith Brothers, now available at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams with Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture. 315-738-7817.
Wouldn't it be great to have AC? You deserve to have air conditioning in your home. And no, I'm not talking about those clunky window units. I'm Jen from Standard, and my team is here to help. Regardless of the type of home you have or your income, we can install AC and make sure you stay comfortable this summer. And even better, in many cases, rebates and incentives significantly reduce the cost, or you could even get it for free. Call Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating today at 315-859-6292. We promise to save you money.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Scott and Jill here from New York Sash with a trivia question for you. How long do you think it takes in weeks to train a bath and shower installer to be 100% ready to tackle a project by themselves?
It's an important question because a lot of companies just hire random independent contractors to install their bathrooms. And usually they're plumbers or handymen, and they may not know the ins and outs of bathroom remodeling, which means, well, they're going to make mistakes.
At New York Sash, our installers are actual employees. We put them through a rigorous training program where they apprentice with a master craftsman for 60 weeks.
60. So when they show up to install your new bath or shower, it's going to be perfect. It takes 60 weeks, but it's worth it.
Call New York Sash now and get 15% off windows, doors, or bathrooms, plus low APR financing. 315-624-7344 or online at newyorksash.com.
Keeler in the morning, Keeler in the morning.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. It's Tuesday morning, and here we are. Another beautiful day. Yesterday was stinking cold. I just felt like there was a chill yesterday that I couldn't get rid of.
Well, and that's the thing is, I wore, jeans and a long sleeve shirt yesterday, and I Walked out of the house this morning, and my fiance says, "What are you doing wearing shorts?" I said, "Well, it's going to be 70. I have to will the warmer weather to continue."
Well, it's only September, and we're in line for a stretch of sunny, summer-like weather. This will be nicer, as long as this holds true. This will be nicer than the second half of August. Think about that.
Yeah.
On the line right now is Dr. Kent Hall. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good. Thanks so much for coming on. During COVID, Dr. Hall was there for us every single morning and never took advantage of that in a crazy way, where I kind of feel like with Cuomo, it did turn into a bit of a spectacle. And because remember, he was playing to a national audience. CNN was covering it. And I also feel like he was prepping to sell the big book.
Yeah, and I almost
and he won an Emmy.
Yeah, and I have to assume that for Dr. Hall and medical professionals like him, it was probably a little bit difficult because you never knew what the governor was going to say and where his information was coming from.
Well, that was even more problematic for Tony Piceni.
Yeah.
Because what would happen is they're trying to figure out what the rules are that they're supposed to, basically follow here. And that's funny. I got distracted by a text message. I'm sorry. Whatever I was saying, it probably wasn't anything. Here's Dr. Hall. Doc, in the beginning, the Cuomo address every day, I do think was important. But there was a point where the rules started to kind of get ridiculous. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, so I would say that, early on, we didn't know a lot. In fact, we knew very little. And so having, updates so that people could, hear what the latest and greatest was, I think was important.
Yeah.
And then, as time went on and we got more, secure in what we did know and what we didn't know and what information we were going to know in the near future. I think a lot of the daily stuff was more about speculation. About what was coming down the pike as opposed to helpful about what to do.
Yeah. And I think that, when we're sitting there, we're watching, because you're trying to figure out what's going to happen, and they're arguing over what is a meal. Because there were places that were like, all right, get a bag of chips, and you can have a cocktail.
No.
And Cuomo was like, that's not a meal. I mean, that just became so ridiculous. They were arguing over whether a chicken wing would account for a meal. Well, you wouldn't get just one chicken wing. It just started to become
one chicken wing.
It started to become very ridiculous, and which didn't help the medical community at all. And it certainly didn't help county executives around New York State.
Yeah, so the whole thing about what was a meal and all that stuff. Really, that to me was people seeking clarity, and to a certain extent, trying to get clarity on the one hand, but also, poking the bear a little bit. And so that's welcome to the 24-hour news cycle, I think.
Right.
And so that was unfortunate, and it was really a distraction from what was important. It is what it was, and we need to move forward from it. We would hopefully learn from it as well, but I'm not sure. I think our memories tend to be a little short in those regards.
I will say,
so,
go ahead.
I just want to point out one thing that I think is important for people to remember, which is that Governor Cuomo made some mistakes. Okay, I'm not going to argue that point. However, I think that early on, there was a real push from the New York State Department of Health and from the CDC, from everybody, to really try and understand this and to be as protective as possible. So specifically as it relates to, mandating that nursing homes accept patients back who had tested positive for COVID but were ready to go back to the nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
Two things that I would point out. Number one is, at that time we did not have the knowledge that we have now about the vulnerable populations. We thought everybody was equally vulnerable. That was wrong. Okay, that was not accurate. But number two, the hospitals, especially the hospitals in New York City, were overwhelmed.
I mean, they were. Remember, we had
not take care of the people.
We had refrigerated tractor trailer trailers.
Yeah.
That were filled with dead bodies. They couldn't keep up with that. Yeah.
Right, and so that order. My understanding about that order was to decompress the hospitals so that they could accept new patients. Now, in retrospect, now knowing the vulnerable populations and the fact that the elderly are a significant vulnerable population, would the same decision be made now? I would say no. And in fact, the movement away from that, once it was understood, was very dramatic in terms of being very prescriptive and not allowing patients to be discharged from the hospital to go back to a nursing home, unless they tested negative for COVID.
Yeah.
And understanding that the testing sometimes could be positive for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, beyond the time that they were actually contagious. So,
and that's the other part of this.
The pendulum swung in both directions.
Because by the rules today, if you don't have a fever and you still are testing positive, there's a chance that could linger, but you're good to go by today's standards.
Right, and that's, although I believe I would have to, because I haven't looked at the nursing home regulations in a while, but I believe that there still needs to be a longer period of time before nursing homes will accept patients out of the hospital. So
now there is and this is not something you'll probably be interested in getting into, but there were some theories that maybe there was a nursing home that would take patients and they were making money off it, and Cuomo was tied to it. I don't think there was any proof or evidence of that to prove that story, but that was one of the storylines that was out there. But it is. I do think it's important for us to get to the bottom of it, to look at what we did right, what we did wrong. The problem is, I'm not sure we as a country can do that today without turning it into something political.
Yeah, so the polarization and and the whole thing with vaccine deniers and things like that continues to exist, and I think you're right. I think you're right on both counts. First of all, yes, we should absolutely be doing an after action report where we're actually this is what we learned. These are the mistakes or the missteps that we did early on because we didn't know things, and this is how in the future we could go about mitigating those. Understanding that when you've got a brand new disease and you don't know stuff, you're going to fall back to basic public health measures, which includes masking, and for a respiratory illness, masking and social distancing and things like that. That is reasonable, but we need to understand how is it that we can get more information, more accurate information quicker, and then get it out to people in a way that it is not, we say one thing at 10 o'clock in the morning and another thing at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which just brings forth confusion and allows people to fill in blanks in their own way and things like that.
A couple of comments. Mike says, how about Sergio Mendez, who died this week? He passed away from long COVID.
Yeah, so that's that. I was not aware that that's what the cause of death was listed as, but long COVID is a thing, and it is. It's got a different name now, but long COVID is what everybody knows. And that to me is the right term to use. That to me is something that we need to really understand and to acknowledge that that's one reason why we want people not to get COVID.
Yeah.
It may not be as serious as it was in 2020 and 2021. However, the effects of long COVID can still be there and can still be devastating to some people.
Here's Kathy with a quick question. Kathy, you're on the radio with Dr. Kent Hall.
Good morning, Dr. Hall. I have to tell you that I decided to get my COVID and my flu shot at the same time, one in each arm. And, of course, my arms were hurting during the night. But the worst thing was my nose. I can breathe through my nose fine, but my nose just ached all night. And finally this morning it stopped aching. That was a little scary. Have you ever heard of anybody having a nose aching?
No, Kathy, I have to say I haven't heard of people having pain in their nose. I have heard of people having, some runny nose and some sneezing and things like that, but never actually pain. Although, with vaccines, people can have what are called idiosyncratic reactions, and idiosyncratic means that it's an individual thing. And so I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm really glad that you got the vaccines, because that's the best way to protect yourself.
Yeah. All right, Kathy. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, glad you're doing better with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
All
good.
right.
Thank
you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Nobody likes nose pain.
Nobody likes the pain coming from the nasal cavity. I will tell you that I had checked my doctor out at Roswell is suggesting that I get all of They want pneumonia. They want RSV. They want COVID, the flu, and the big
shots.
And the big.
You're not talking about the virus.
They want me to get them all, Andrew. Yeah. They have. So the worry was, Doc, that the only live vaccine out of all of those is the shingles vaccine. So the question was, should I get the shingles? And I'm going to be spending a lot of time getting vaccines, so we'll see how that works out, because they want me to get all of them.
Yes.
Just based on the treatment I'm going through right now. So.
Right, and given your, given your medical history and what the how vulnerable you as based on that, I think that's really excellent recommendation. So,
Doc, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and as always, please be safe.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Dr. Hall. Thanks.
Dr. Kent Hall. All right, let's do Habaika's free money question of the day. It's worth $200, and boy, do I have a question and a half for you today. Davey, you're looking for caller number what this morning?
Caller number 10, Bill.
Caller number 10. 10th caller right now at 315-736-0186. A doozy of a question. We'll do it next on WIBX.
What's your design inspiration? A picture on the wall? A photo from a magazine? A board you've made on Pinterest? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. It's amazing what some of our customers bring to us for inspiration, and we love working side by side with them to help turn their flooring dream into a reality. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the job, helping you to discover your perfect flooring. And there really is so much to discover. Consider the latest flooring trends as you plan your next home project. Many of our customers are surprised by the incredible new choices we have available. For example, today's snap-together waterproof luxury vinyl is incredibly popular. It's durable and it's stunning, with so many styles that replicate hardwood and beautiful stone looks. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Mattress Express's Labor Day sale is here. Take up to 60 months to pay for anything in the store with no money down for qualified customers. Save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic, $1,000 on Purple, $700 on Stearns & Foster, and $1,350 on Puffy.
Are you a human service professional who finds strengths in every family and potential within every child? Consider becoming a caseworker with the Oneida County Department of Family and Community Services. You'll receive a generous starting salary of over $55,000, a comprehensive benefits package, and annual salary increases, all while working a 35-hour work week. Oneida County is filling several entry-level caseworker positions on their dynamic caseworker team right now, and no civil service test is required. For information and application, head to OneidaCountyJobs.com.
You don't need to go to extremes this winter finding all those blankets. Call Tri-County Heating for all your furnace repairs. Need a new furnace? Quotes are free. Tri-County Heating, your Rude Pro Partner dealer, will make you warm and comfy this winter. Check out their website at tri-countyheating.com or call them at 315-829-4100. Don't wait. Call for your furnace cleaning and tune-up special. Offer expires September 30th.
Here's your chance to win a 2024 Jeep Compass. Enter the Rome Capital Arts Complex car raffle. This is not a national promotion. It's a fundraiser for the Capital Arts Complex.
Buy your $50 car raffle ticket at the Capitol Theater box office. Visit RomeCapital.com for additional locations and details. Brought to you by Town Square Media, WKTV, and Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Rome.
Buy your raffle ticket today.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at more than 85,000 grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants, including popular national chains and local favorites. Just download the free app, claim an offer, and get real cash back on your purchase. There are no complicated points or rebates. With Upside, you can earn up to $10 cash back every time you go to the grocery store or dine out. That's up to $10 right back in your pocket on every meal out and every grocery run. The best part? You can earn on top of your credit or debit card rewards. Download Upside today. Use promo code SNACK10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code SNACK10 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. That's promo code SNACK10. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Keeler in the Morning invites you to connect with us through telephonic communication at 315-736-0186 or use the Call Us button on the WIBX 950 app. For additional contact methodologies, please refer to WIBX950.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
This is Keeler in the Morning on WIBX.
Well, a sad day. If you remember that interview we had with James Earl Jones. I don't know, it might have been like 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
If you remember, he said that for us. And then remember the bombshell he dropped during the interview. I thought it was quite interesting. Here it is.
Just so you know, I died yesterday at the age of 93. I was the voice of Darth Vader and Mufasa in The Lion King.
So he predicted his own. That's right.
It was amazing.
It's like he
it
knew.
Was about 10 years off.
Jeez.
I stopped it there for fear that the person who sent me that
it was going to get worse.
left me a little nugget that would have shocked me. So I stopped there.
Smart.
I didn't get a chance to preview that, but thank you for that, James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones.
Very sad though, man. What a talent! What an amazing voice. And I did watch yesterday. If you watched NBC, they did a whole report on him, and it just shows you the pettiness of the media that we live in still today, even at the local level, but it's also at the national level. They went through an entire report about everything he did.
Yeah.
Right to his stuttering as a child.
Oh, my God.
And they never mentioned CNN on NBC because I guess you don't want to mention the competition.
Oh, right.
But how do you talk about James Earl Jones without saying that from the beginning of CNN, he was the voice of CNN?
I didn't realize that. Even to this day?
This is CNN. That was him all those years. I believe they still play. You know they're playing it now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, every day we give you a chance to win from Hobica's free money question of the day. The Hobica Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica, at 315-724-1600. This morning, no exception. We start with Kelly in Whitesboro, ready to take a shot at Hobica's free money. Hello, Kelly. Good morning.
Money.
Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. Now, just to let you know, no matter what happens, you'll get the all-in-one food and fun card, which is a $25 gift card good at Nexus. The upcoming box lacrosse that's going to be World Championships, going to be going on in Utica. Babes, Cookies, Q and Creamery, 72 Tavern and Grill, Taylor and the Cook, Aquavino, the list goes on. You can use it anywhere. Also, I have tickets to give away to Beatles, the Beatles, 1964. That is the tribute happening September 19th at the Stanley Theater. And happening Saturday and Sunday at the Stanley, Broadway Utica presents Kimberly Akimbo. So we have tickets to all of that for you to choose, and you just let Davey know what you want, and then hopefully you get the money too. Okay?
Okay.
It's a lot of crap, isn't it?
You are giving away a lot.
Wow.
What is that? I think Megan at the front desk is going to start
It's fun to
screaming
lose.
at you.
It's fun to lose here. All right, here is your question. You know you have 7 seconds to answer the question. Just 7 seconds. Get your answer in before the buzzer goes off. And I hated Ryan Seacrest last night. Here we go. In what city and state was cream cheese invented? Ready? Go.
Oh, my God. Old Forge, New York.
What did you say?
Old Forge, New York.
Was it Old Forge,
good.
New York?
Interesting. Good guess.
Well, you're close. You're really close. If you keep going north.
Lowville.
North of Lowville in Philadelphia, New York.
Oh.
In Philadelphia, New York. And to this day, in Lowville, the largest maker of cream cheese is the Kraft plant in Lowville. But
So
it was
Philadelphia.
But it was invented in Philadelphia,
New York.
New York.
So people think it's Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and the Pennsylvanians try to take it from us, but it's crap. It is Philadelphia, New York. All right. Well, listen, I've already gone through the whole list of a multitude of things you get to take from us today. So I'll let you work that out with Davey, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, and you as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Philadelphia, New York. They even have the guy who created it, who was making cheese and allowed something more in the cheese, which made it a little more wet. And ultimately, everybody seemed to like the taste of it. Back in the 1800s, cream cheese was not invented until the 1800s.
Bagels weren't even invented then.
No one even used the word schmear.
Good
Pretty
point.
sure.
Good point.
All right. Here is the. I'm going to play a little audio from Tyreek Hill. I found it kind of interesting because there is a tie-in. Here's the tie-in. We all, at times, although there are those who say I've never been stopped before, but many of us do get stopped from time to time by police on the road. And the bulk of us, and what we teach our children, is you be respectful, be decent. For the most part, police are out there to protect you and
others.
And others.
And Frank may not like this, but sometimes I sing like a canary in hopes that my honesty will get me out of the ticket.
Stupid. Anyway, I will tell you, have I ever run into someone who didn't like me and had preconceived thoughts of me?
Oh,
yeah,
you
and
did.
was like scolding me? Yes, I have. And that isn't fun. However, 99.999% of the time, I'm at fault and begging for forgiveness. So here we are. Police pull over Tyreek Hill in Miami. Miami-Dade police. So the question I have is Hill in the wrong, or is the police officer, did he escalate this to the point? Is it legal for someone to be an a-hole?
Yeah.
Or
There's no law against
resist a bit. And he wanted to roll his window up. You'll hear that in the clip. Ultimately, we all would hope that he would be polite and it would end that way, and he would have been on his way, but he didn't. But
No,
did he
not.
break a law legally? Did the police escalate that?
Well, and also, did he deserve the treatment he got?
Did he
based
deserve
on
to
his
be
actions?
pulled from the car and thrown to the ground and handcuffed? those questions. We have a police officer. We have an attorney. Let's listen to the clip first. Here we go.
Hey, don't knock on my window like that, man. Don't knock on
He said, don't knock on my window. Don't knock on my window.
You have your seatbelt on. Don't knock on my window like that, no. Like what? Don't knock on my window like that. Why you have it up? Don't knock on my window like that. Why you have it up? I have to knock to let you know I'm here. Don't knock. That way you can lower it and talk to you. Just get my ticket, bro, so I can go. I'm finna be late, gang. Do what you gotta do. Keep it
He
down.
is being very disrespectful, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Keep your window down. Hey. Keep your window down. Don't tell me what. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Give me your ass. Get out of the car. Give me your ass. I'm gonna break that window. Get out of the car. I'm finna get out. Get out of the car right now. We're not playing this game. Get out.
Now he's actually calling through to the stadium and talking to security at the stadium. And they actually came over to try to intervene, but they did yank him out, put him to the ground. He says potentially injuring his knee that he just had surgery on, although in the game he seemed to have no problem
he seemed to be doing
with his knee. Let me start with Steve Houck here, who trains police officers around the country. I don't think there's any doubt here, Steve, that Tyreek Hill was disrespectful, and I like to see use the adjective a-hole-ish. However, did the police officer take that too far?
Well, I watched his statement that he made after the fact, and where he said he was completely cooperative.
Well, that's not true. Clearly not true.
After watching
That's
the
a
video,
PR move.
I'd hate to see uncooperative.
Yes, yeah.
If that's cooperative.
Mama told me how to be cooperative, and that's what I did.
Right. Part of it, though, I will tell you, is that we're not seeing is what led up to the stop. Because here's one thing that you don't. It's more of a human thing than a legal thing. Is that if he was speeding or being reckless driving in that area, if you're doing a static patrol, so you're stationary as the motor officer was, and he comes flying by you, it's not a traditional pursuit, and we think that they were chasing him through the streets, but you'd have to accelerate at quite a pace to catch up to him. So I wonder, and of course that gets your adrenaline moving, that gets you very excited as an officer. Not excited in a good way, but a lot of stuff going on.
And to be fair, based on the video that we've seen, it certainly doesn't look like he could go all that fast because there was a lot of traffic there. However, he said he didn't know he was speeding. You know he was speeding, right? And you know he was probably weaving in and out, and that's what they call reckless.
He was late.
But based on what we see here, did that warrant? I mean, he was being rude to the cop. There's no doubt. Did it warrant pulling him out of the car and throwing him to the ground and putting handcuffs on him?
Well, I don't look at the rude part or not. That really makes no difference to me. Maybe it did to that officer, but it doesn't to me. Is he had very dark tinted windows, and he told him to roll it down. He rolled it down once. While he turns his head for a second, he's rolling it back up. So you don't know what he might have in that car or what he doesn't have in that car. And so you want to be able to see him, which you can't do. Even if he rolled his window up, if he didn't have that dark window, he could still see him.
Yeah. He
clearly couldn't see him, and it looks to me like that what he was trying to do. He kept giving him, orders like keep that window down. He wouldn't comply with them. And then at one point, obviously, he pulls the door open and, he pulls him out of the car. If you've ever seen a McLaren like that, I don't think there's a graceful way to get out of that car.
Right.
You almost fall into it. So, and then he pulls him out and, handcuffs him, which that all goes fine. And then he's standing on the side of the curb. And at that point, the one officer that's holding him says, it sounds like he says to him, sit down. And he basically is just defiant until the other officer comes up to grab him. And then he says, oh, my knee. So it seems like throughout the process, he was defiant up until the point where he had no choice but to comply. So he wasn't compliant in the least bit. Now, I will say that the officer that came up to take him down at the curbside was aggressive. He was in handcuffs. He wasn't trying to run away. He was being an idiot, but you're trained to do that. That's not an abnormal thing in policing. So he was a bit aggressive. I don't think he needed to be, to show that much force to take him down to the ground. So I think the fault really lies on both sides.
It could have been too like a personality thing, like, oh, I'm going to take this NFL star down. Watch, he's going to mess with me.
It could be a lot of things, and I do agree. I think that at the end of the day, There is wrong on both sides of this. He clearly didn't have to treat the police that way. Now, I want to bring in, and you can hang there, Steve, if you don't mind, bring in the defense attorney extraordinaire, Frank Policelli, wondering what your take is as a defense attorney here.
Well, we don't know all the facts.
We don't know all the facts.
But I agree with Steve in many respects. I know that, as a matter of fact, I have a case that's currently pending similar to this, except my guy was a passenger, which is a big difference. My guy was a passenger, and they wanted him to show identification, which, of course, it's the Second Circuit. It says it's clearly established law that a passenger does not have to provide identification. Then they says, well, you don't have your seatbelt on. Well, when the vehicle is stopped, they amended the seatbelt law last March. Unless the car is in motion, you don't have to wear your seatbelt. So they grab him, they pull him out of the car, and they tase him. That's clearly excessive force.
Is that in New York? Did that happen in New York?
It happened in Utica.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I got that lawsuit pending against the city of Utica and that police officer. But here it's a little bit different because you don't know the facts of why they stopped him. It's only a vehicle and traffic violation. I got a call from a lawyer in Miami just yesterday telling me how the Miami police are. And you saw how they acted. They don't want to listen to anything. They were overly aggressive, and I agree with Steve. He had a right to have him come out of. You have a right to have the driver leave the vehicle, okay? For officer safety purposes, and he has to show his identification because he's the driver.
Yeah.
But then once they do that, it's only a vehicle and traffic violation. You don't have to throw him on the ground and put your knee in his back. That's where they draw the line. I think Steve and I agree on that.
Steve?
Yeah, I think he's right. I mean, the reality of it is that there are clear rules when it comes to that, and we don't escalate violence; we react. And if we have to use force, we react. So we're not the aggressors; we react to someone else's. So if he was fighting or trying to run away or something like that, obviously that would force the officers to escalate there. But he wasn't. He was being a jerk. But hey, I mean, in law enforcement, that's not uncommon. That's every day that happens. So
Steve,
they clearly got upset.
Steve, don't you train your officers to de-escalate situations?
Absolutely. And in this case, again, he wasn't being verbally aggressive. I mean, he was being a jerk, but he wasn't being aggressive. He wasn't making threats. He wasn't saying
a-holish, I call it. A-holish.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
so
no doubt.
I do think that the emotions got the better of him there, and if they had just taken a step back, they could have realized that maybe this isn't that big of a deal.
I'm going to say one more thing. If he had a bad knee and he ran 80 yards for a touchdown, imagine what he's like when his knees ain't bothering him.
That's a good point. That's a good point. As a Buffalo Bills fan, I'm wondering why they didn't throw him a little harder onto the ground.
Well, Frank, I can tell you right now, based on Frank and I's ongoing conversation with one another via text message, if that was Gleyber Torres, I would have said, put him on the ground harder.
Yes, yeah. All right. Well, interesting stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong. Am I having this rare moment where a defense attorney and a police officer are in agreement? Did that just happen here?
It's more common than you think. Yeah,
it probably does.
Frank and I have known each other a long time. We've had many discussions. But to be honest with you, we probably agree more times than we don't agree.
And Frank, I think that you and I can agree on this. I certainly know I do when I talk to my kids. I talk to them about the proper way to be respectful. You will be far better off if you are respectful, even in some cases if you're being. Sometimes, Steve, I've met a few cops in my day that I think they own the stretch of the road that they've stopped me on.
Right, it's personally
and
their
I've
property.
Actually been speeding on their property because it's very personal at times. But for the most part, 99.9% of the time, you're the one that caused it. If you're respectful, you're going to drive away and everything's going to be okay. Frank, do you agree with that?
I listen. My father-in-law was a police officer in Baltimore for 50 years. Okay, so I get it from both sides. I've represented many police officers, so I try to be as down the middle as I can on these situations. and have a fair perspective once you know all the facts.
Yeah. All right. Great conversation, gentlemen. Steve Houck, thank you. Frank Policelli,
pleasure.
Thank you as well.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right. Have a great day, guys. We have a lot to get to next hour. I do want to get an update on. There's some programming changes at KTV. We'll talk to Steve McMurray, who is the vice president there and general manager. Ryan Schmelz is on with a big debate tonight.
Big debate.
We'll get into that as well, and a bunch more coming up here on Tuesday morning on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
It's their first, and perhaps only, showdown. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Former President Trump versus Vice President Harris tonight.
I think he's going to lie. And, he has a playbook that he has used in the past.
That's the Vice President on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show podcast. She's been prepping in Pittsburgh for the ABC presidential debate for days with a Trump impersonator.
Philippe Reines watched old Trump debates with the sound off to get Trump's mannerisms down, and now in the mock debates, he is dressing like Trump as well, according to the New York Times. According to Politico, the whole entire Harris debate strategy hinged on being able to fact-check him in real time. And when they have the mics muted, she's not going to be able to do that. So in Pittsburgh, they've apparently been trying to figure out how exactly she is supposed to debate when she cannot be jumping in.
That's Fox's Peter Ducey in Philadelphia, where the debate's at 9 p.m. Eastern. The UN's Middle East envoy has condemned Israel's latest airstrike in Gaza that hit an area where there are civilians housed in tents. At least 19 Palestinians were killed. Israel says it targeted a Hamas command center, killing militants. And that is something U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is discussing on a visit to Britain.
The two countries are aligned on Ukraine, but not quite in lockstep over Gaza. The newly governing Labour Party has just announced restrictions on some weapons sales to Israel and dropped the ousted Conservative government's plans to challenge the international arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Fox's Jonathan Savage in London. SpaceX launched a new private mission this morning with billionaire Jared Isaacman and 3 others on board from Cape Canaveral, where Fox's Jonathan Seri reports.
This 5-day private mission will take the 4 space travelers into a high orbit, reaching a maximum altitude of 870 miles, the farthest humans have traveled from Earth since the Apollo moon missions.
And they'll also go on the first private spacewalk. America's listening to Fox News.
NYPD officer Jonathan Diller's tragic story made national headlines this year. Now, Jonathan was shot and killed by a career criminal during a traffic stop. Jonathan, who's just 31 years old, leaves behind his wife Stephanie and 1-year-old son Ryan. Now, nothing will ever replace the loss of a husband and a father, but the Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to pay off the mortgage on the Diller family's home. Please commit to $11 a month. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Gold Star families will be in Washington today to see their lost loved ones honored posthumously as House lawmakers give out congressional gold medals, honoring the 13 American troops killed in that Afghanistan suicide bombing that marred the 2021 U.S. withdrawal. House Republicans blame the Biden administration for missteps and misleading Americans about that withdrawal that turned chaotic as the Taliban retook control of Afghanistan.
White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby calls the House GOP report partisan and one-sided.
And this one says little or nothing new.
Kirby says decisions committing U.S. forces to leave Afghanistan and free Taliban prisoners were made by the Trump administration.
President Biden, for his part, faced a stark choice when he came to office. Abide by the flawed agreement and end America's longest war, or blow up the deal, extend the war.
House Republicans said the process of evacuating civilians happened much too late. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
They're getting ready in Louisiana for Francine. A tropical storm now, predicted to be a hurricane when it hits land tomorrow.
Impacts, we've been told, will start on Tuesday evening and last until Thursday
morning.
New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. On Wall Street, stock futures are mixed after yesterday's big rebound. On Monday Night Football, San Francisco beat the New York Jets 32-19. In Hollywood and around the world, a legend is being mourned.
I am your father.
James Earl Jones played one of the most notorious movie villains of all time in Star Wars, but he was much more than Darth Vader.
I'm King Jaffe Joffer, ruler of Zamunda.
That's from Coming to America, but kids know him as another ruler, the Lion King.
Look, Simba. Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
James Earl Jones was also in Field of Dreams and Dr. Strangelove and much more. He won Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Awards in his career. James Earl Jones died at the age of 93. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM. 92.3 FM News Time, 8:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. 56 degrees under sunny skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by Adirondack Home Furniture. They've been investigating for days, but troopers say there's still no evidence of gunfire at the New York State Fairgrounds. The fairgrounds were evacuated as a precaution back on September 1st after there were reports of gunshots. However, state police say interviews with 31 people who dialed 911 that night haven't led to any proof being uncovered. A weapon was actually fired. There's still no word on what exactly people heard, and anyone with information is asked to come forward. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo will be testifying in front of lawmakers on Capitol Hill today. Cuomo is expected to face questions about how his administration responded to the COVID-19 pandemic. He issued a mandate during the crisis ordering nursing homes to admit patients who'd tested positive for the illness. An independent report by an outside consulting firm concluded Cuomo's takeover of public health policy during the pandemic was, quote, a significant and unnecessary mistake. Rome police say the alleged school shooting threat posted to Facebook on Sunday was not directed locally and instead at Rome, Georgia. Police were alerted of the post that threatened school violence on Monday and learned a group of juveniles had shared it on social media to, quote, make people aware of what was being said. Upon police confirming the threat concerned a Georgia school, they alerted authorities down there who stated they were already investigating the post. Police say they take school threats seriously and encourage the community to alert police of suspicious activity. A Rome man was arrested on grand larceny charges for allegedly stealing from the Utica Walmart, according to Utica police. Officers were called to the store on August 23rd after a man made off with over $1,300 in electronics and merchandise from the store. Units were dispatched on September 5th to Hannaford Plaza for another larceny and apprehended the suspect after a foot pursuit. Police linked him to the Walmart incident and charged 37-year-old Robert Vendura of Rome with 4th-degree grand larceny, petit larceny, resisting arrest, and 7th-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance. And drivers across the Empire State are going to want to keep a close eye on their speedometers over the next few days, Bill. That's because police are cracking down on dangerous motorists as part of Speed Awareness Week. This campaign runs through Saturday, and it's aimed at preventing crashes on the roadways. During Speed Awareness Weeks in June and August of last year, tens of thousands of tickets were handed out for violations such as speeding, plus alcohol and drug-impaired driving. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 8:08. Your weather forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net.
Here's the latest from the WIBX Weather Center for today. Almost up to 70 degrees with plenty of sunshine. For tonight, look for partly clear skies and a low going down to 44 degrees. Tomorrow, we warm up to 75 with sunny skies. And then on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sunshine and temps in the low to mid 80s. That's the latest. I'm Mike Johnson for WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Right now, we have clear skies and 56 degrees. Some lingering fog in some areas. It's 8:09. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43 local contractors. Well, Aaron Rodgers' return wasn't that great. The Jets struggled in their season opener after falling to the San Francisco 49ers 32-19 at Levi's Stadium. Rodgers returned from his torn Achilles and completed only 13 of 21 passes for 167 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Alan Lazard managed to catch 6 passes for 89 yards and 2 scores. Gang Green is now last in the AFC East at 0-1, and they'll visit the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. The Yankees opened their series against the Kansas City Royals with a 10-4 victory at Yankee Stadium. Jake Cousins was credited with his second win of the year after striking out 2 over a scoreless inning of relief. Austin Wells was the big bat last night. He led the way at the plate after going 2 for 5 with a 3-run shot and 4 RBIs, one of them on a double. Alex Verdugo also went deep for the Bronx Bombers, who lead the AL East at 83-61. They'll continue their 3-game set tonight in the Bronx. The Mets have won 10 of their last 11 games after opening their series against the Toronto Blue Jays with a 3-2 win at Rogers Center. Ryan Stanek earned the victory after striking out 3 batters over a scoreless inning of relief. Edwin Diaz secured his 17th save of the season after pitching a scoreless bottom of the 9th. New York is now the 3rd NL wild card at 79-65. They'll continue their 3-game set tonight. And the Giants aren't quite ready to make a change under center. Head coach Brian Daboll confirmed Monday that Daniel Jones is still the team's starting quarterback. He also indicated that there will be no change in practice reps. In other news, the G-Men signed wide receiver return specialist Emir Smith-Marset to the active roster. The Giants are tied for last in the NFC East at 0-1, and they'll visit the Washington Commanders also at 0-1 on Sunday. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time, 8:11.
Okay, a lot to get to, and I want to tell you that with back to school, people are thinking about germs and everybody getting sick and bacteria and all of that. They did a study on pizza. How long should a pizza stay out before it's too long? Now, I remember early on when I worked in Little Falls long ago, we would go into Kearney's Corners and they had in cellophane pizza from the night before just sitting out on the counter. And I'd come in at like 4 a.m. and grab 2 of those, usually with mushrooms and cheese. It was the best pizza in the world.
In the world.
In the world. That with a Diet Coke started my Saturday and Sunday off perfectly. Now, how long was it sitting out there? Probably 8 hours, 10 hours.
Yeah.
But it was good. I never got sick from it. But what do the experts say? Wait till you hear.
You recently got ill on some leftover
I don't
pizza,
think I really did, though. I don't think I did. Well, that was almost 3 days old. I didn't know.
Okay.
So how long is okay? I think they're a little too careful, to be honest with you, but how long is okay? The experts have looked into it, and we have a definitive answer for you. And we'll get to it coming up. Also, Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio talking about tonight's debate. Steve McMurray from WKTV on their program changes. And, might I say, the worst. He's not that bad. Ryan Seacrest took over for Pat Sajak last night.
Oh, boy.
Now, he's
I didn't watch.
He really is not that bad. I just can't stand looking at his face.
I watched that with my mom last night.
He wasn't that bad. He was actually pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Can't stand looking at his face.
Everything about him.
Ugh. So, I don't know how I'm going to watch that show.
He was telling then and then, don't you like the new set? Looks nice. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
You sounded just like him.
Yeah, I mean, James Earl Jones and Ryan Seacrest. Who'd have thought Davey could do
both of them?
The perfect impressions.
That's incredible. Anyway, that's
we also have some
Wheel
comments
of Fortune.
too, by the way.
All right, we'll get to the comments coming up quickly before I break. Mike and Skyler. I got about 45 seconds, Mike. Go.
Okay. No, I just want to comment. Andrew, how about Will Weaver? I mentioned that they should think about putting Weaver in the closer role. He's been coming in a couple of times. He's been doing good. He did good last night.
ABC, anyway. Mike. ABC. Anybody but Clay. That's kind of the method.
I like that one, ABC. Mm-hmm. It's funny though. Now when they have Clay, they show him in the bullpen, but that's as far as he goes.
Yeah. You know what happens? When I see him in the bullpen.
No, God! No, God! Please, no!
That's my reaction.
I know, right?
Did you watch any of the Apple event?
Yes, I did. I did see that.
Yeah.
They had the new phone coming out. The new button on the phone.
Yeah, I like
I have
that.
the Ford Pass, too. I have the Ford Pass. It's kind of neat. I just hit that button to start my car on the phone.
I kind of like how you can get right to your camera immediately. You can even call 911 and send them video. There's a whole bunch of different things that are kind of cool. But adding the AI to it is pretty cool. So, like, if you were to ask, what is the town that the museum, not museum, I mean what is Fort Stanwix?
Yeah.
What is the town? Is it?
Your,
and normally, what will happen now, if you kind of get muddy during your question, if you don't ask it perfectly, Siri gets all confused. Now you're going to be able to be like, it's going to know what you said before. It's going to be able to distinguish what you're trying to say, even if you screw it up and don't say it perfectly. I think that'll be a big improvement. We'll see. The camera's improved too.
And did you see the watch be able to detect?
Watch is impressive.
Yeah. Sleep apnea things.
Sleep apnea and all of that stuff. Very cool. All right, we'll see where it goes. Thanks, Mike. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go Mets.
You take care.
Okay. All right. Go Mets. In case you're paying any attention, the Mets will play over the course of the next week and a half. They're now a game ahead of Atlanta, 7 games behind the Phillies. They finish up with Toronto, play 3 games with the Phillies, 3 games with Atlanta. Is it Atlanta? No, the Nationals. 3 games with the Phillies, and then 3 games with Atlanta. That's their schedule going forward.
Wow.
The Mets can control their own destiny. If they want to make it in, they can make it in. This could also be a disastrous couple of weeks.
And I'm telling you, I'm deep down inside, I'm rooting for the Mets to make the playoffs.
All right, Davey.
Because I really want to see Carlos Mendoza turn this team around and make it into the playoffs. Being Aaron Boone's former bench coach.
I like what he's done. I like it. Got a break coming up. That pizza question. How long can it sit out? Coming up.
In our studios, we have Deborah Kessler of the New York State RV Show, the fall super sale coming up at the Great New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse, Friday, September 20th through Sunday, September 22nd. What is your big show coming up all about?
Massive show out at the New York State Fairgrounds on the Midway. We have 9 dealers. You're going to be looking at hundreds and hundreds of RVs that are going to be on display. Financing on site, yes. Bring your used camper and trade up. This is the place to buy. Get into a new unit for next spring or to continue using for this fall. We still have a lot of camping time left. New this year, we have a kids zone, which includes bouncy houses, a trackless train, reptile presentations.
What is the cost of admission?
Admission is $12 at the door, or if you buy online, it's $10. The website is cnyrvshow.com.
And it's the New York State RV Show and Super Sale coming to the Great New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse, Friday, September 20th through Sunday, September 22nd. You can learn more at cnyrvshow.com.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at more than 85,000 grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants, including popular national chains and local favorites. Just download the free app, claim an offer, and get real cash back on your purchase. There are no complicated points or rebates. With Upside, you can earn up to $10 cash back every time you go to the grocery store or dine out. That's up to $10 right back in your pocket on every meal out and every grocery run. The best part? You can earn on top of your credit or debit card rewards. Download Upside today. Use promo code SNACK10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code SNACK10 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. That's promo code SNACK10. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Adirondack Home Furniture now carries Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925 and is known for its high-quality, solid-built, top-of-the-line pieces. Made in America with modern technology using age-old craftsmanship, Smith Brothers offers furniture that you can have confidence in for generations. Smith Brothers is a solid and dependable brand who provide innovative furniture design with every piece. Smith Brothers is a leader in the furniture industry with their award-winning line of upholstered furniture. Furniture. They have built a reputation for their value and design leadership with furniture of the finest quality. We would love for you to come and browse our extensive inventory and see for yourself. Smith Brothers, now available at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams with Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture. 315-738-7817.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving. Just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Have you been thinking about buying a new hot tub or spa? Now is the time. Liverpool Pool and Spa has a large selection of American-made spas and hot tubs. Enjoy year-round for both relaxation and hydrotherapy. Fast delivery and installation available, as well as local service and support long after the sale. Financing options also available for qualified buyers. Stop into the Rome location today on 1501 East Dominic Street in Rome, or visit liverpoolpoolandspa.com for more information. Don't just dream it, live it.
Hey everyone, Lisa here from Fit Body Bootcamp in Whitesboro and Clinton. Are you ready to fall back into that fitness routine? As the seasons transform, why not transform your fitness goals too? Here at Fit Body Bootcamp, we can help you create those healthy habits, and yes, our coaches are ready to help you lose the weight for the very last time. What are you waiting for? Join us today for free, because we are the best of the best fitness center for 3 years in a row. Call us or find us on Facebook to start your journey.
Hey, I want to tell you, it is happening in Herkimer County. You're looking for things to do, as you may have been doing all summer long. Herkimer Diamonds remains open until the end. I think it's right up until November they are open, you're going to have some beautiful weather to take advantage of for the next, I don't know, it looks like week and a half to 2 weeks. As of right now, you can explore so many great things in Herkimer County. You know, coming up is the Frankfurt, what is today's date? Yeah. Today is the Frankfurt 10th. Harbor Fest is this week.
Ooh.
Little Falls Cheese Festival and Garlic Festival still coming up. And, of course, Old Forge, and just around the corner, the beautiful leaves, the foliage. Although I saw somebody on TV the other day pronounce it foliage. Are there two ways to pronounce that word?
Foliage.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
They said foliage.
I think they're being lazy with it.
It was Dennis Quaid when he was trying to do Ronald Reagan. I like foliage, and Gorbachev, take down that wall.
That's funny.
Remember that line?
Yep.
It is happening in Herkimer County. History, commerce, and beauty are colliding in Herkimer County. And feel free to check it all out.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
So, even to this day, we'll get a pizza. It'll sit there. Some nights, if it's not a real meat pizza, if it's just cheese, it sits out and put it on the stove. You wake up the next morning, bang.
It used to be.
Tastes so good in the morning.
It is
the
good.
other thing, tomato pie. How often
can sit out.
How often do you take that tomato pie and put it in the refrigerator? Never.
Never. You just leave it on the counter, but it
stays
doesn't
on the
last
countertop.
that long. It doesn't last
well,
long
but
enough
what if it does? To me, it's soaked in a little bit. I like that even more than the first piece that you get when you first get it.
We used to put the pizza into the oven when it was, when everybody was done with it and there was the leftovers. You just
leave it
it in the oven to storage until somebody preheated the oven. Oh my God, there's pizza in there.
Pizza box. A new study shows that a pizza left out for 6 hours is still relatively safe for eating. But after that, beware. I don't know. The pizzas tested sitting out after 12 hours found a significant amount of mold taking over the food. Here is food safety expert Dr. Teresa Bergholz breaking down the results of their study. Here we go.
We found about 2,600 cells per gram of pizza. Fairly low level of microbes were present on that pizza. Things like fresh produce and fresh fruits can have anywhere from 1,000 to maybe 10,000 cells per gram on them. So what we see here is that even if we had it sit out for 6 hours, that still seems to be relatively low risk.
Well, that's good.
So 6 hours, you're okay. 12 hours, not so okay. You have been poisoned. So,
you moldy piece of garbage.
You're getting nowhere, Davey, or it's just disconnecting on him? All right. We had a guy.
Well, try him once
out
more.
Of Albany. Try him one more time. Otherwise, I can move on. I can move on.
Hey, we're moving on.
James Earl Jones died yesterday at his home. Do you know where he lived?
Where?
In upstate New York.
Get out. Where?
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, what's upstate, though? Is it, Westchester County? Is it down
I believe,
by the city?
I believe
Rockland County?
Yonkers is
that's
upstate.
not upstate.
Somewhere upstate he lived. Do we have him? All right. Here he is on the line right now.
Brant may know something about this pizza.
Who is the Senior Director of Education Training Certification Standards for the ISSA. What is the, Brant, what is the ISSA?
Hey, guys. Sorry about that. My phone dropped there for a second. But the ISSA is the Worldwide Cleaning Trade Association.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
My wife belongs to it. When we get on an airplane, she brings her own Clorox wipes, and we wipe crap down. You gotta.
Yeah, that's a lot of people do that as well. Yeah, and it's back to school, right? So in Utica, you guys are back for your first full week of kids in school.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a dangerous time of year, right? The kids are getting back. All the germs are starting to get around, and they're starting to bring that home already. So it's time to be prepared.
I know. From day one, the germs are coming.
Well, my wife has been a first grade and a second grade teacher. She currently teaches second grade. First grade is worse. You know, when that kid sneezes and there's crap all over the kid's face, and you got to go there. And then here's the problem with this, Brent. She comes home, and that just spreads it everywhere through the house. Yeah, it's terrible.
Absolutely, it is. A lot of these illnesses are airborne, and there's not much you can do besides making sure you're distant. But one of the tips I just say to parents, my daughter's in high school here in Schenectady, New York, and as we send her to school, we want to make sure she's healthy. So if she's home and she's sick, that's okay. That's okay. Keep them home.
Yeah.
But please don't send the kids to school sick. It's the worst thing you can do.
I find that during COVID, we all played by the rules. But now that COVID is over, it's like, they don't have COVID. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yes, they're hacking up a lung, have a temperature of 103.
Just have typhoid flu. It's
but
okay.
Don't worry. We're going to. But what happens is it's hard when I get it. It's hard. You have no daycare set up. You can't take the day off, so you send them to school, and all it does is spread throughout the school.
It does. Yeah. You think about how many times the kids are touching their face, wiping their boogers on their hands. When they're in school, we just got to make sure that they're continually washing their hands for a minimum of 20 seconds with warm water and soap. And if they have to sneeze in your elbow, not your hand.
I hear that a lot. My wife actually yelled at me the other day as we were walking through the parking lot of a big box store, and I had sneezed or coughed. I had coughed because I couldn't get rid of that cough, and she scolded me right in front of people. And we're walking through the aisles, and I'm like, listen, I am not your first grade student. Do not treat me that way. But she does. What am I going to do?
She cares for you. She loves you. And you got to remember that the average person, they're catching a cold or an illness 6 to 12 times a year. That's a lot.
It's terrible. I went for almost a year without anything, and then, just piles up. So washing the hands is a big deal. I find that they're starting to get rid of the classic drinking fountain. The one the kid would put his lips around when drinking the water.
They are. They're tending to go to the ones where the bottle refilling stations, which is wonderful. It helps a little bit. But the reality is that a lot of kids are catching sickness or illness from surfaces. So things like their backpacks, their clothes, their desks, things that are being touched frequently. And a lot of schools now are installing, fixtures that are automated where you run your hand in front of it and it spits out the paper towel or the water.
Right.
Again, trying to avoid those situations.
Those are annoying. I think we really need to improve the technology.
They may be annoying, but I love the fact that I don't have to touch anything.
No, I like
in a
that
public
too
restroom.
when it works.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting there, trying to put the hand under the sink and nothing comes out. It's
You're
annoying.
right. Is the fall when kids go back to school worse than the rest of the year?
So anytime you're in a confined space like a school, it's just going to enhance the cross-contamination of sickness and illness, right? That's just natural. In the springtime, allergies start to peak a little bit higher. It's not really because of a cold. But essentially the flu season technically starts towards the mid to late summer, and then it just blows up in the fall and winter months because everybody's in a built environment without a lot of air circulation.
Okay, so the message is, number one, I think the biggest of all is do not send the kid in when the kid's sick. That's the big
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Brandon Cerro with ISSA out in the Schenectady area. We appreciate your time. This goes for schools and workplaces as well. Be careful out there. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You do the same.
All right,
Brant. And it's not I'll get somebody that's like, oh, you guys are whining about germs. And it isn't about fear. It's not about, I just don't want your crap.
Nobody wants it.
Right?
Nobody wants it.
I just don't want to be annoyed with a cold for 2 or 3 weeks.
It's an inconvenience.
Or sometimes these colds go on forever. They say at Fox News Radio in D.C., people sneeze everywhere.
Yeah, it's
sneeze. It's terrible. Oh, here's Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio.
Hey.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning.
It's funny you say that because I actually did, as a board member for the organization that represents all the journalists on the Hill, I did actually get a complaint one time about somebody coughing and sneezing in our work area. So it's not exactly an uncommon thing that you guys are joking about.
Well, it's funny. Even Fox News is not
immune.
Not immune from all of this. All right. Well, here we go. And I have a little theory that I want to get into, but I want to hear what you have. Obviously, this is the long-awaited debate between former President Donald Trump and current Vice President Kamala Harris. It is tonight. What do you think, Ryan?
What I think is the debate in general.
I lost you there for a second. I think I got you back.
What do I think about what?
The debate.
What do you think about the debate?
Oh, good question. Well, this is the first time we're going to see them together on stage. This is going to be a much different feeling, I think. Your Democrats are sending in the prosecutor, and we'll see how former President Trump's able to handle her. I think a big sentiment I'm hearing from a lot of Republicans here on Capitol Hill is they want Donald Trump to stay focused on the issues, keep it to policy, keep it to issues, but do not go into the rounds of, personal attacks, and also don't go into old grievances.
Yeah. Deeds in New Hartford saying, I think it will be interesting to hear how Trump pronounces her name in front of her. Let's see if he carries that same energy face to face.
Certainly. I mean, he no doubt Donald Trump is a trash talker, whether it's in person or, over the phone or at a rally. So we'll see how he does it in person, like you just said. I'm curious as well.
So here's my little take on it, and I want to know what you think. So I at the beginning, I really thought this debate is not, Donald Trump's not vulnerable. People know who he is. They know what he does. They know his flaws. They have accepted them because they like his policy. However, there is a group out there of people that are, maybe they voted for Biden the last time because they didn't like Trump, and they're Republican or maybe lean Republican. And a lot of times what happens is when the story comes on, like, MSNBC running a negative story after negative story after negative story about Trump, or maybe it's CNN or whatever, I think that they turn the channel. They don't want to see it. They don't watch it. But here it will be, or you'll hear, they're manipulating. They're picking out a clip out of context. Here they're going to see it because you're going to watch. Everybody's going to watch this.
Yeah.
And here those people are going to see Trump in action in its entirety within context. And if he goes off the rails, that could, it may be a small number, but just enough of a small number to hurt. That could hurt Donald Trump. And then I'll tell you, I will tell you my thoughts on Kamala Harris, but what do you think of that theory?
Well, I think there is this idea that it's a couple of people in a couple of states that are going to be the ones that determine this election, right? And I think there is this thought of the Harris campaign. Now, I don't have anything to confirm this, but I think it is an idea that a lot of people are throwing out there that, maybe the idea is just to get under Donald Trump's skin, and then you can just get him to go off on some of those tangents that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you look at some of the ads the Harris campaign's running. I mean, they've got one where they have former President Obama mocking Donald Trump for focusing on crowd sizes. And so I think there is this thought that if the Harris campaign can get under Trump's skin, then they're going to make him a big distraction. And I think that is a very credible, I think, idea.
Yeah. He needs to be disciplined. On the other hand, Kamala Harris, here is a prosecutor. She should know how to debate. She's certainly been doing debate rehearsal. And so I would say that she's prepped. I think her vulnerability, obviously, if he sticks to policy, that is clearly her vulnerability. But let's say that put that aside. I think one of the things that she has to be careful of that could really hurt her is people walking away disliking her. I think women are treated differently. A woman prosecutor may be treated a little differently than a male. And if she comes off as someone who is unlikable, that will not help her, especially with women.
I think that's fair, but I think the other thing for her is if we come away from this still not knowing anything about her, that's going to be possibly a liability too. There was a Siena College New York Times poll that just came out where one of her biggest issues when it comes to trying to separate herself from former President Trump is that people still don't know enough about her vision for the country.
Right.
And if we leave this debate still not knowing what her true vision is for the country, I think that'll kind of lead to people not wanting to vote for her. I mean, you saw that with her interview with Dana Bash, where, it wasn't an interview that maybe hurt her per se, but we still were like, okay, well, where do you actually stand, and what do you want to do with it? So I think that's kind of the big question with her is she going to give us a better idea of where she stands on issues and all that?
I thought her VP candidate, when asked about the question about carrying guns in the military and that sort of thing into battle, which we clearly misspoke, I really felt he evaded the question a lot. I hate that when it happens, and she did as well, saying, that was what I thought then. I have not changed whatever her quote was. It's just.
Her values have not changed, but her stances may have.
That's right.
Related to fracking, right?
Blah, blah, blah. I hate that crap. So you're right. I do think that there's a lot of learning. Chances are, though, that if you're a Trump supporter, you don't care what her policy is because you're already going to be against it. And likewise, on the other side will be the same thing. But there are those that could be swayed.
It's going to be a game time decision for a lot of people. Does my dislike for this person outweigh what I feel is the best for the next 4 years? That's going to be it.
Right. And I think there's always the question too. There's two wings of voters they could be targeting. It's going to be their own voters, the typical Republican, typical Democrat, but those who might not want to vote this election because they don't like their candidate. Are they going to stay home, or are they going to go out to the ballot box and actually vote for Donald Trump or Harris? And then, of course, you have the independent voters in a number of these swing states like Michigan, like Ohio, Pennsylvania, you name them. Are they going to be able to win over those independents? I mean, that's who they're focusing on.
Yeah. It's going to be very, very. I don't know though, Ryan, that there's been a debate that has been more anticipated than this one.
Yeah, this is one I think we're very excited about. Yeah. I mean, we haven't. Yeah, like you said, this one. It might be the most consequential one in terms of what this could do for the race. Certainly, the last debate maybe was the most consequential debate we ever saw, but this one could be one that really does make or break this campaign. Yeah. It does have that feeling.
Yep, I agree. All right, Ryan, we'll be watching. Thank you so much for the time. We'll talk again soon.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right, Ryan.
Interesting, right? I do think this is going to be. You'll be watching, right?
Oh, I will be. Yeah. Got the popcorn.
We will be carrying it live on the radio. Davey, that's correct?
Correct, Bill. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. tonight. You can see it, hear it here on the radio. It'll be interesting to hear from people who listened versus people who watched.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
Quickly before I break, though, are you ready for some drinking games?
Yeah, please.
Apparently, this is important to USA Today. Each person receives one USA. Oh, there's a game called Bingo, Presidential Debate Bingo. You can look it up, and it involves drinking. There's a debate called Debate Foul, Party Foul. The rules for the debate between Harris and Trump will remain the same as the one between Trump and Biden, as microphones that may be cut, no studio audience, and moderators who are able to enforce the limits. Yet it's highly unlikely that they're going to follow. That's where the game comes in. For debate foul, party foul, each player should have a sipping drink, a shot drink, and a designated drink that is particularly foul. Hot sauce, maybe something you don't like. And anytime a participant attempts to speak past their allotted time, you have to take a drink. And then there's line by line, knowledge of political cliches. It's ridiculous. You're evading the question with those cliches. I hate it. Every time you hear one, you have to drink.
You have to pound.
Things like my fellow Americans or we the people. I believe in America that loves each other. Blah, blah, blah. Give us some facts. And every time that happens, you have to drink. You'll be bombed by 8:30. Got a break. We'll come back.
Doesn't the debate start at 9?
Maybe. Well, you start early.
Yeah, you got to pregame.
Because some of these reporters do the same crap. Steve McMurray from KTV, they're making some programming changes. We'll get the latest on that coming right up.
Have you been thinking about buying a new hot tub or spa? Now is the time. Liverpool Pool and Spa has a large selection of American-made spas and hot tubs. Enjoy year-round for both relaxation and hydrotherapy. Fast delivery and installation available, as well as local service and support long after the sale. Financing options also available for qualified buyers. Stop into the Rome location today on 1501 East Dominic Street in Rome, or visit liverpoolpoolandspa.com for more information. Don't just dream it, live it.
Don Hartman and staff would like to invite you to save 30% on timeless treasures at the Potting Shed Antiques. For the entire month of September, enjoy 30% off the entire store, excluding gold jewelry and coins. Find unique items like furniture, lighting, stoneware, china, toys, glass, silver, costume jewelry, collectibles, and more. Visit us on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro or online at thepottingshedantiques.com. Open Thursday through Saturday. Come find your next one-of-a-kind piece today at the Potting Shed Antiques.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Summer congestion got you down? Whether it's allergies or a summer cold, being congested can change your whole day. You feel tired and run down like you're missing out on summer fun. At Navage, we're here to make breathing easy, easier. Navage uses patented gentle suction technology to help clear out allergens, mucus, dust, and germs without drugs. In as fast as 30 seconds, you'll be on your way to a better day. Look for Navage in brand new packaging. Navage, fresh new look, same great product.
This is Dr. Robert Fleischer, urologist with Mohawk Valley Health System. MVHS, in collaboration with Upstate Urology, is hosting a free prostate cancer screening event throughout the month of September to recognize Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and encourage men to get screened. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer and unfortunately the second leading cause of cancer death in American men. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during his lifetime. Early diagnosis of prostate cancer significantly increases the likelihood of survival. The free screenings include a prostate exam with a prostate-specific antigen blood test. I strongly encourage all men aged 45 to 75 to participate. Early detection can mean the difference between life and death. For more information or to register, please visit mvhealthsystem.org or call 315-624-4600. That's 315-624-4600.
Hey, is it possible to drive an award-winning...
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Adirondack Home Furniture now carries Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925 and is known for its high-quality, solid-built, top-of-the-line pieces. Made in America with modern technology using age-old craftsmanship, Smith Brothers offers furniture that you can have confidence in for generations. Smith Brothers is a solid and dependable brand who provide innovative furniture design with every piece. Smith Brothers is a leader in the furniture industry with their award-winning line of upholstered furniture. They have built a reputation for their value and design leadership with furniture of the finest quality. We would love for you to come and browse our extensive inventory and see for yourself. Smith Brothers, now available at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams with Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture. 315-738-7817.
Hey, is it possible to drive an award-winning Mazda with 0% APR financing? And the answer to that is absolutely. It's Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Ricky Z is there, an amazing guy who really creates this wonderful atmosphere. I drive a Mazda, and I never really saw myself driving a Mazda until I test drove the CX-9. Now I have the CX-90, which I love. Both of those vehicles are awesome. And you can drive a new 2024 Mazda CX-5 SE model for just $285 a month, or for a lease, a 36-month lease, that's $285 per month. And you can also save with 0% APR financing if you choose. 0% APR financing. Award-winning new 2024 Mazdas. See Rick or anybody at the dealership for details. As he says, come in. Let's make your deal on a new Mazda, where it's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
This is actual footage of Bill Keeler doing a radio show on WIBX. Sadly, his career was found in a heavily wooded area. If you know the person or persons who ended the radio career of Bill Keeler, please tell them thanks on behalf of the people of Central New York.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
This is Keeler in the Morning on WIBX.
Too soon?
No way.
On the line right now is, we've got a bunch of comments we're going to get to, and your opinion, all of that. 315-736-0186. Some changes going on at WKTV. Some are minor changes, programming changes. Others are quite large. Steve McMurray is the vice president and general manager at WKTV.
They're hiring Keeler to do the 11 o'clock news.
That'll never happen.
Yeah, careful what you wish for, Bill. That's a different type of shift.
Oh, yeah.
Different than morning.
Way too late for me.
Oh, my gosh.
All right. Well, Steve, good morning. And just personally, I guess, because I've apparently become old with my wife, and we watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. And I hate the change to Ryan Seacrest. However, I watched, and he probably did a really good job. I don't know. I struggle with that. I don't like change.
Yeah,
well,
Well, I think, look, when a guy like Pat Sajak has been there forever.
Yeah.
I'm sort of surprised, quite honestly, that they didn't put someone else in first, almost as a sacrificial lamb. Nobody's ever going to fill Pat Sajak.
Yes.
Yep. And then it's like, all right, now we'll go to Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah.
He'll save the day. And, Ryan Seacrest is this generation's Dick Clark. So
yeah, no doubt. And boy, they're grooming him to be that. There's no doubt about it.
They already gave him the New Year's Eve thing for the last few years.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
but he hosts everything. He runs about 5 different production companies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, enough already is what I say. But what do we know? What do we know?
Steve can't say that. You see,
I will tell you, I do like I can never remember his name. The replacement for Alex Trebek.
Ken Jennings.
I like Ken Jennings. I feel that he's kind of geeky and it fits that show.
He's just boring enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. He's got a stick. Absolutely, and it seems to work. And I've got to laugh. It's funny. I've been at KTV now 22 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I started, Vic Vetters, not long after I started, Vic Vetters was the GM, and we were in a meeting, and he said, "Well, I don't know, the trades at the time said, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy are on their way out." Well,
that's funny.
Here we are, and the numbers are still huge. So.
There's no doubt.
To your point, Bill, what do we know?
What do we know? Apparently zero. All right. Let's start with the CW thing. Nexstar owns CW, and it looks like they took it back, if you can say it that way. And you guys are now running what I would say is a throwback to the old independent television stations.
Yeah. So, it was not a hostile takeover. Our affiliation agreement expired, and with Nexstar owning the CW, they made us an offer if we wanted to continue it, but certainly it wasn't an offer that we could go through with. And we had a good run with CW, but to be honest, once we put the CBS on the air back in 2015. For viewers and advertisers and clients alike, there's really not a comparison.
Yeah.
And that's not a slap at the CW. It's just CBS is one of the big four. It's a legacy network. And, just having 20 weeks of NFL football alone is certainly – and this CBS Prime lineup is, was more lucrative and obviously had more eyeballs. So when it went – we knew it was going to go away September 1st. We had looked at other programming options. There are other sub-channels out there. We already run Meet TV on our .4. There are similar networks. There are other shopping-type networks out there. And I've got to give credit. Dave Streeter, our ops manager, said, well, what about us just trying to program it, to your point, Bill, like the old days, an independent, and we'll just – we have a channel that's available. It's wide open. It's not costing us any more money. So let's give it a shot. And we sort of did a soft launch of it on September 1st because that's when it came open. Right now we're just doing some specific weather for it and some news replays, a couple other programs that air, still some paid programming or infomercials for folks that, maybe understand that term. And we'll see. I think I don't want to go as far back and say it'll be like a public access. We're not going to have Wayne's World on it. But, I think there's opportunities that, quite honestly, we may not even be thinking of.
Right.
When Dave and I were talking, you look at every school now has the ability to stream all their events.
Right.
And it's one camera, and viewers are okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think the dyed-in-the-wool broadcasters that, 20 years ago was blasphemy to put anything on the air that wasn't shot on film, those days have passed, and people are willing to accept Skype interviews or Zoom interviews or whatnot. And I think, our market still skews older, and there are a lot of folks that don't understand how to use the internet machine and stream. So this may
this may be an opportunity for them. And so I think for us, it's pretty fluid. And if it doesn't work, well, then we'll do something else.
Right.
But it was an opportunity that presented itself, and we're going to see where it takes us.
Well, we've talked about where networks seem to be going anyway. All of a sudden there's a Peacock and Paramount, and they seem to be on the they're not that far away from saying, well, look what they did with some of the soap operas. They're not that far away from pulling it from the local TV stations. Not to say that's going to happen, but you wonder.
Yeah, so we go to the network meetings in May every year. There's a very similar vein that, the network affiliate partnership is as strong as ever, and we couldn't survive. We couldn't succeed as much as we do without you. But we also have these properties which we want to use, and we want to put some stuff on, and we want to see what goes. I think that affiliate partnership will always be there, just based on the amount of distribution that you have. But I think it is going to change. And I think when you have properties like the NFL say, we'll be fine just putting a game on streaming only, and it's not just Peacock. One game a week is on Amazon only.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We'll see how that goes. And so I think for us, we're in the digital space that you guys are too, and it gives you the opportunity to of not having time constraints in the digital space. And this new channel sort of has that same feel to it. I mean, it gives us the opportunity. I'm not saying we're going to do it all the time, but it gives us the opportunity if we want to carry a live press conference, for example.
Right.
All we're preempting is ourselves.
Is it on cable yet?
So here's what's going to happen, and it's a little interesting with what's going on with Spectrum / the old Time Warner. They're keeping it on Channel 11 for right now, but I believe in a matter of weeks, it's going to go up to the upper tiers. I think it's going to be 1246.
Okay.
KTV is 1245. Will be 12. The KTV Plus will be 1246. And I'm assuming they're going to take the CW, which is now at the Next Star station, and put that on 11 on the cable, so that it keeps its regular spot. Look, we've been taking phone calls every day. Where's this? Where's that? And I don't know. You got to ask. You have to ask the folks at Spectrum. But like I said, we had a good run with CW, and this is an opportunity to change gears a little bit. Look, it's already helped us. NBC and CBS had the Big Ten football contract, so we wouldn't have a 6:00 news on Saturday all fall long, because they would be preempted. So now we started doing it at 6:00 on Saturdays on the CW, or there you go, on WKTV Plus.
Yep.
And it's worked out. Folks have seen it, say, hey, it's a good option. There are folks, believe it or not, that don't follow any sporting events, and they want to watch the news, and so that's an opportunity for them. And we're still doing the 10 o'clock every night there as well. So I think this has some possibilities, but we'll evaluate it constantly. And look, at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out the way it's supposed to, we'll go a different direction. You got to be pivot.
yeah, there's no doubt. I really like it. I think it's a
great idea.
It's a new concept, and I think you're going to see TV stations going down this road. You are seeing it in radio right now. Those that have an HD transmitter have like 2 or 3 channels, and they do alternative programming on the other channels. So interesting. All right. Well, and then you have other program changes that are already in effect, but we wanted to get a little take on the CW thing and this WKTV Plus. So we appreciate it greatly, Steve. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me, guys, and I'm sure I'll see you around.
All right.
All right, thanks,
we're
Steve.
going to start taking bets on how long Seacrest lasts. My guess is...
Well, listen, I hope... Well, whomever's in that chair, I just hope the show lasts.
That's right, keep the show going.
As long as the show lasts, I don't care who's hosting it.
My guess is forever, just a prediction.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. All right, good stuff. I don't think he'll ever die, to be honest with you. I don't think so.
Well, I think he's younger than both of us, unfortunately.
I think he is. So, all right, Steve.
I think we're in for the duration.
Good stuff. Steve, thank you so much.
You got it. Take care, guys.
Steve McMurray. Let me tell you about Insera's Flooring Outlet. And there is no place you can go where you're going to get a better supply of flooring, a better inventory. No place in the area, which means why not take advantage of some of the unique products they have, whether it's tile, hardwoods. Pergo Extreme by Mohawk is an amazing product. It's all available at Incera's Flooring Outlet. And right now, get interest-free financing, 6 months interest-free financing. Incera's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and online at incerasflooringoutlet.com. The official coffee of this radio program, Daylight Donuts. Their croissants are delicious, made with butter. And the drive-thru is speedy fast. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SAVVY.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. A Town Square media station.
Taking action against an American adversary. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The United States will be announcing further sanctions on Iran later today.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken in London says the sanctions come as Iran keeps supplying Russia with weapons of war, from drones to missiles.
Russia has now received shipments of these ballistic missiles and will likely use them within weeks in Ukraine against Ukrainians.
Now, Ukraine continues to counterattack, firing a barrage of drones into Russia overnight. Russia claims to have shot down more than 140 drones, reporting some falling debris caused civilian casualties. In the war in Gaza, an Israeli airstrike hit an area filled with tents housing civilians. Palestinian officials say at least 19 people were killed.
The Israelis say they were targeting a Hamas command and control center. A statement provided to Fox News from the IDF says the head of Hamas's aerial unit was killed, along with 2 other Hamas members. With no diplomatic solution to end the war.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Those wars are likely topics tonight. In the ABC presidential debate, Vice President Harris has been prepping for days doing mock debates with a Trump impersonator. Campaign spokesman Ian Sams tells Fox.
She wants to try to ensure that she understands the kind of things that the former president may say, the proposals that he's going to outline, the attacks that he may try to land. And of course, she's preparing for that.
The Trump campaign says the former president will tie Harris to everything in the Biden administration, from inflation to record illegal immigration. Francine keeps churning in the Gulf, forecast to go into a hurricane and hit Louisiana tomorrow.
With a tropical storm warning extending through New Orleans and Lake Pontchartrain over to the Mississippi line. Storm preparations should be underway and rush to completion. Wind, rain, and storm surge are a concern for Louisiana, with as much as 10 feet of inundation expected.
Fox's Eben Brown. 3 wildfires are now burning in Southern California, barely contained. The biggest is east of L.A., scorching about 36 square miles around Highland. Thousands of people have evacuated. America's listening to Fox News.
Jerry Padgett, the second enlisted in the U.S. Navy and deployed multiple times to Iraq and Afghanistan until Jerry was catastrophically injured in an improvised explosive device blast. Now, Jerry received a new smart home thanks to our friends at the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Now, the home is in the foundation's Let Us Do Good Village. It's in Florida, and Jerry now lives more independently thanks to the specially adaptive technologies. Commit to $11 a month, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at more than 85,000 grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants, including popular national chains and local favorites. Just download the free app, claim an offer, and get real cash back on your purchase. There are no complicated points or rebates. With Upside, you can earn up to $10 cash back every time you go to the grocery store or dine out. That's up to $10 right back in your pocket on every meal out and every grocery run. The best part? You can earn on top of your credit or debit card rewards. Download Upside today. Use promo code SNACK10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code SNACK10 for an extra 10% cashback